Steve, I didn't get a notification.
It's not going to be notified yet.
Cool.
Welcome to the new garage, everybody.
Yes.
Coming to you
from the new Bourbon BS podcast studio, the new Steve's garage, and
volume down.
Happy Whiskey Wednesday, everybody. And we haven't had two guests on in a while, really.
Volume down?
Yeah, that one. Good thing.
Cool.
Anyways, so we have Dan on, we have Bobby Crow on. You may know him from all of his comments lately. And so we're going to be talking about being, I can't remember what we even said.
Feeling overwhelmed, yet keep moving forward is what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah, and then we're going to be, we'll get into cigars and whiskey, but are you all shared up?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
So
this is a perfect time for you guys, ladies and guys, to share it, like it, along with us, and because we've been really growing this thing. Our biggest viewership so far has been just over 4,000 on one of our bigger episodes. So we thank you for the support. Comment what you're drinking and smoking down below, and we hope that you enjoy the conversation tonight. So, yeah.
That's right. Sharing it up here. Did you share yours already?
Yeah.
Sharing.
Everyone share. This is the fun part. While everyone joins, also they got the notification.
It actually looks really good.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
I like the.
It's a good shot.
I feel like Dustin's moving things.
Hey,
it's so good. No, I like it. You have look at this set. I wish everyone could see the setup you have. Like you have more bottles and shit than all four of us. It's amazing.
It's almost like he's camping out.
He is camping out.
He does a good job. I'm not saying that. It's just it's funny.
So I had to tell Gary we should take Dustin.
Absolutely. And I hear Eli knows a few people.
It's great. It's great.
it's great.
It's great.
I told you I was bringing bottles. I mean,
Nice. Yeah. No shit. No shit.
All right. Cool.
All right. We'll see how this works out here.
Yeah, we're gonna start our audio right now.
Right now.
Right now. Oh shit.
What?
I don't have a
you
bottle
ready?
to clink on. Yeah.
All right.
Bobby, come here. Bring your glass. 1, 2.
Wait. I give the 1, 2, 3.
Okay, go, Dad.
I'm pressing the. Oh, that was weak.
Was it weak? Okay.
That was a weak first one.
One more
for
time.
the garage.
There.
All right.
Is that a little better? Okay.
It's better.
Happy Whiskey Wednesday, everybody. Episode 56. I'm Jake Sanders along with Steve Crane.
Hey.
And we make up the Bourbon BS podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We have our good friends, Dan and Robert, Bobby, whatever it is, Robbie, Crow.
Bobby.
And,
Shots fired.
yeah.
No. For anyone that follows the podcast on our Facebook live feed, we've seen Bobby Crow get on there. And Wednesday nights, he likes to participate. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
Let's put it that way, huh?
I get stickers at the end of the night, right?
There's no stickers.
It's good. It's good to.
I'll get you a lollipop or something.
Yeah, we'll get you.
It's like, coming into the document.
Finally get to join in
Yeah.
live.
Yes, Dan. We're glad to have you. Dan's an amateur hockey player, and Bobby's a professional typist. And so we are, if this is the first time that you're tuning in tonight, we talk about a cigar, we talk about a whiskey, we talk about the pairing. But the main, portion of our podcast is taken up by our topic of the evening. And the point of it is it brings a cigar shop feel to you, our viewers, and we hope you really, really enjoy it. That's what Steve and I wanted, and I think it's coming to life so far. So we're just over a year.
Yeah.
But getting back to it is we're going to be talking tonight about feeling overwhelmed yet moving forward.
That's right. We're going to have a topic. So we just had someone actually, Michelle, do you pick your topics ahead of time? How do you pick your guests? I want to drink and smoke cigars.
How's that in response?
It's perfect.
Yeah, but this is for the audio. I mean, I think
That
see, Dustin's all camped out. He wants
It's good though. It's good. It's good.
this was my job.
It is your
is.
job to
It
do
is.
this. What I'm saying, talking about the topic. So before our producer overrode us here.
We want to have Michelle on. That's good.
Well, yeah,
that'd be good.
We do look for guests. We try to book at least a month out. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but other than that, for the topics, we do. Once again, sometimes we'll have 3-4 weeks out. Other times we'll pick something day of if we haven't. like Bobby was getting hold of me yesterday and was like, "What's the topic?" I chose, just because I've been busy this week, I just chose not to respond at all. Not saying like I don't know yet or we're getting on it. I just didn't respond until this afternoon, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I
That was yesterday.
was it? No, it was
No, I didn't know
yesterday.
yesterday.
For you to be on.
I think
No, I knew before that.
Oh, I was about to
You
say.
just found out.
no.
I mean, we've done that before. We'd be like,
No.
"Hey, Nate, you good? Okay, cool. Come over."
Yeah. But no, the topics are basically we try to fluctuate them. We don't always try to do like the real serious ones. We try to do some interview ones. We try to do some lighter ones. We try, like we did a movie one, music, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, we try to have some sort of content. And so when we ask people to share it, tell people about it, things like that, as far as growing the podcast, the audience, and everything. We want to know what people want to hear about. We want to know which ones you enjoy more. We can see it in the view count, but that doesn't always really. And the audio side, we see that, but it doesn't always
Translate to what people like.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it could be a fluke. It could be just because people were not as busy that Wednesday, whatever it might be. Not much is going on. The weather's nicer. We haven't really had enough of a timeline here to really figure out what is hitting and what's not. But the biggest thing is we're trying to really not say, hey, make sure you like it, make sure you do all like the sharing and all that stuff. We want you to want to do that. I mean, if you guys are enjoying the content and getting something out of it, then I can only hope and assume that you have people in your life, friends, family, whatever it is, and that would enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
So they can either listen to the podcast, watch it on YouTube, watch it live on Wednesday nights with us, or go back to Facebook and watch it anytime, really. So
Exactly.
that's how the topics are basically the bread and butter of all of this. With the cigars and whiskey, kind of like Jake said, it's the cigar atmosphere. It's the being in a shop.
Can't they just message you guys too?
Yeah, you can reach. That's right, Bobby. You can reach out to our Instagram page, our Facebook page, bourbonandbspodcast@gmail.com. There's all sorts of different ways that you can reach out if you want to become a guest. If you're in the Columbus area, we do have, as soon as we're sure that we're set up in this new garage, as well as we can be, we need to start trying to do the video chat one too.
Yes, exactly.
We gotta do that.
We've had a lot of questions about it, and
Yeah.
we're on the verge of doing that. So, again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We want to thank our main sponsors of the evening. Thank you, Tinder Box at Easton, for providing the My Father. Is this a classic? Is that what they call it?
It's just the My Father.
Okay,
This was the first one that had the My Father emblem on it and the name on it.
very cool.
Yeah, so we'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah, and our second cigar of the evening is always provided by Altadis USA. So tonight, Altadis provided us the new Montecristo Nicaraguan Series. I've had it. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I'm excited to see what we all think, especially with our Elijah Craig barrel proof, which, thank you, Bobby Crow, for providing
Absolutely.
that tonight. It's pretty cool to have, our guests come in with, bottles and being so gracious. So again, we thank you for bringing that.
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And I will say, just news as far as what we're doing around the shop here at Tinder Box Easton, one of our sponsors. We've sold about 240 tickets out of 300 in 2 weeks. So great response. So we have people coming from all over. So I don't know I think we have some people from the podcast as far as viewing. It's helped spread the word. So thank you if you guys are coming from out of town, here in town in Columbus, Ohio. We're getting calls from obviously all around the state, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton, Akron, all that good stuff. But then we have some people come down from Detroit that haven't been down to the event yet. I think there's some PA people, West Virginia, Indiana. So I mean, we're getting like the Midwest right now is really coming together. So that's great.
Very cool. And so how many tickets are left,
There's 60 max.
Left.
60 max.
60,
Okay.
that's it.
300.
So we still have, basically we're doing a little different this year. So you can do the VIP dinner ticket, which is the entire event, including the buffet, drink tickets, a couple extra cigars, or you can do just the Cigar Expo ticket. We talked about it on the podcast before, but if you guys have not tuned in, it's something where you can really, it's a Friday night, so you can hopefully enjoy yourself. We have live music at the end of the night after the raffle, which we have probably 50 to 100 prizes in the raffle. Everything from smaller prizes to larger prizes. Yeah. And then we have live music at the end of the night. And then if you need a ride home and a ride back the next day, we have some Safe Ride, which is another thing I'm involved in, is Safe Ride LLC, that we provide Lyft codes. So you can have cab vouchers for the Columbus area if you're going to the hotels or back home, or we also team up with Lyft that you'll get $10 off a Lyft ride. So we're trying to make sure you guys all have a good time in an event like this because this is something that isn't done every day. So,
But also be safe.
and be safe,
And
absolutely.
be safe doing it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And they can call into the shop, right, to get the tickets.
You can call into the shop, absolutely. So that is all linked to the Tinder Box, but it's 614-475-7872.
Very good.
Yeah.
Say it like you manage a place.
Good one, Dan.
How was your guys' week? Let's get some
not so bad.
pleasantries out of the way.
Before we got there,
I don't fucking care about your
No,
week then.
no.
I wanted to get the fuck out of here. No,
I
let's
want
get
to talk about you, Steve.
I don't want to
We're,
do that.
we're in his new house, people.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be the
we're breaking in the new garage.
Yeah, I want to be the first one on our audio and our Facebook Live to say congrats, man.
Thank you.
Is it exciting?
It's getting there. Yeah, tomorrow I don't work, so I can kind of get all the rest of the little shit out of the house. Luckily, I went back to the house. Dan was the earliest one, and he was the lucky one, and he had volunteered, which I appreciate. He was here on Sunday to help out as well, and so was Jake. Dan came over to help kind of get all this shit into the pickup, move a couple things up from the garage or from the basement to the garage, so I can clean it up tomorrow. But once I'm through all of that, I'm golden. After the end of tomorrow, I can take my time around the house to do everything else. It's just getting it all. Which it was nice. Dan was over there, and my neighbors at the other house saying how they're gonna miss us. Gave me a 6-pack of Land Grant, which is a local brewery, and even the kid. It was funny. Julie, the wife, she was saying that one of her daughters was gonna miss Whiskey Wednesdays.
That's awesome.
I'm not kidding.
That's
awesome. She's never drank with us. She's too young to drink. But she just thinks it seems like they all think it's kind of cool that we do this right next door. Now I'm only a street away, so hopefully we'll have them in the area. But
They're good people.
Yeah, they're amazing people. And it sounds like I might even have a place they might have some of the college students at the church they go to might need a couch or some of the other stuff.
Cool.
So that's always great. Yeah.
Helping me out, get rid of things, and helping people out.
Well, Bobby's got some news, right? You're moving.
Speaking of moving,
Right.
a little further than a street over.
I can't time it 5 minutes back and forth here.
It's not even 5 minutes.
It's like a 3-hour flight.
Where are you moving to, Bobby?
My wife and I are moving to Dallas, Texas. We got great opportunities, and I actually got to leave on next Thursday. So I will be in Dallas and hopefully commuting a couple times a year to see everybody again. So it's good, it's different, exciting, and stressful all at the same time.
Yeah. We knew you wanted to be, Steve told me that you wanted to be on before you left, so here we
We're
are.
happy to have you on.
Yes.
It's nice, and it's nice to be able to break in the new garage.
Thank you. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. It's not the other one. The other one isn't very well ventilated, but
We got a door crack, so
We're
it's
getting
okay.
there.
we got one of the garage doors cracked. On the video, it doesn't look too bad, but in
not
here
yet.
it's
We're only
starting
10
to
minutes
cloud
in.
up. It's starting to cloud up a little bit.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah, don't have a window in here, but
So Hockey Dan.
Dan Raduege.
My week's been fucking great.
My question is, are you going to get a Canadian accent as you get more and more tipsy?
Unfortunately, yes.
So stay tuned, everyone. We'll have a gauge going across the screen.
Just don't ask me about fucking hockey.
Yeah, we won't. Don't worry.
Even though you're wearing a Letterkenny shirt, right? And that's designated for.
Who do you support?
Well, I always support the hometown team, but first and foremost, I'm a goalie when it comes to ice hockey, so I favor the goalies more than their actual teams. So I float around, supporting a couple teams. Anyone outside of Columbus, probably be Montreal with Carey Price, New York with Henrik Lundqvist. Anyone who's been there for a long time and just super skilled.
Nice.
So they're people I absolutely love to watch and play the game.
Were you upset or happy that they kept Bob here? Did you think he was going to get traded?
During the trade deadline yesterday, I really thought towards the tail end he was going to go. But with the acquisitions the Jackets made, stacking up a roster for the playoff push, I am really happy that they kept both Bob and Panarin.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've got a better chance going into the offseason of at least keeping one of them along with the other three unrestricted free agents that they have.
Yeah.
So, all we can do is wait and hope and see what the future brings. Yeah, exactly.
That was the first time we mentioned hockey on here, or anything about sports for that matter, really.
Well, you're welcome to bring that on.
It's good. It's good.
Nook just said he sent. Well, first of all, Chris Faulkner, I just mentioned that you guys, if you're still on, Chris, I was just talking about how great it was having you guys over just before the podcast. But
He just said epic Dustin speech. That was me.
well, he just said, Jacob. Well, he just said, Jacob.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Shane.
Nook,
You're welcome,
if you look behind us, Nook's been on the show before, but if you look behind us on the video, if you guys are watching, the Asylum 13 Nook did for us a while back, so I wanted to make sure that made it in the view, and he's happy about that. But he was in the shop today.
I know, I missed it.
And we were talking about how last year's event was a little different, and that by the end of it, everyone was having a good time, and that he had taped some nice speeches from different people and different toasts and everything, including Jake's stand on a chair in the corner before he left.
It was epic.
It was good. It was all right.
I thought it was really good.
Well, you were hammered.
Yeah. I thought it was really good.
Drinking
yeah.
very
I
bad.
was trying to show my appreciation. man. It
Jake
was my
walks up
first
to me.
smoking tent event.
Jake walks up to me, and I think we talked about this last year after the tent
I
event.
think we talked about it a lot.
No, but you walked up to me after we had kind of gotten everyone out of the tent for the fire marshal. Then we did the raffle and everything. And then Jake comes up to me, he's like, what do you want me to do? I was like, make as many fucking people stay as you can. So get them up front on the patio and get them drinking and having a good time. He's like, okay. He just turns around. We didn't go beyond that. He just turns around and walks away. I'm like, let's see how this goes. And I'm like, I just go back to doing all my shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, and sure enough, we had a full fucking patio.
Yeah, Steve comes out there and we're doing Irish car bombs and
Fucking Jaeger bombs.
Jaeger bombs.
Steve was pissed.
Yeah. And yes, Kylie, you can make a speech afterwards. Yes.
It was a great time. Can't wait for this year.
Let's see.
It's definitely gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
Different change of pace since we're not on a Sunday like we normally have been, but
All right. Yeah, Chris just said, my now old neighbor, sadly, I love that my kids said, quote, we're going to miss Whiskey Wednesday.
I think they should just try to drink this yellow in the garage. There's
part of me that I can't tell if he's being serious and said
Alan.
that they're gonna miss me as a neighbor, or that they want the bad influence as far away as possible.
The air quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
The air quotes took it
So
off.
Chris, please bring your kids over, make them yell Steve.
No, not really.
So we can really enjoy this podcast.
We need our first weird sound in the garage.
There's someone humping a truck out here. They do like gas.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Man, it's a cul-de-sac. What are you doing out there?
And that's how we know Steve is old.
Yeah, right.
Well, we hope that
Get off my lawn!
we hope that everyone is still tuning in. We're gonna dive into the whiskey, and so tonight, thank you, Bobby Crow, for bringing the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
You take a sip of that.
It's the C918 batch, so you said it's late September, right?
Yes.
In 18. It's 131.4 proof, so it's getting up to.
Water in there?
Yeah, a little bit.
I did.
I did a little bit.
It tastes amazing without, but
Yeah, it's up there, man. 130 proof in bourbon is pretty hot, and but the thing about Elijah Craig is it's good. It's still great.
it tastes amazing
Yeah.
without even opening it up.
Yeah. So interesting thing about Elijah Craig is that they used to have different bottles, and they used to be exactly 12 years old, right? Even the small batches said 12 years on the labels, and this also comes from Heaven Hill, so let's not forget that. But Elijah Craig was named after the bourbon, the whiskey was named after Elijah Craig, and he was a big influence in the bourbon community. Some say that he was the grandfather and the reason why bourbon is named bourbon, due to the simple fact that when he had barrels that were had like fish and different things that he stored in, and back then, right? He had
Still to this day.
yeah, still out there. But anyways, so what he would do is to get the smell out of it and to get the whatever out of it,
To clean it.
basically, he would fire the barrels and you get rid of all that smell. I'm under the impression that didn't always happen to the best of their abilities, but it'd be interesting to tell. But so what they would do is when they fired the barrels, they would fill the barrel with whiskey, and then they would go down the Ohio River, and then go down into Mississippi, and then go to Louisiana.
Huh.
So that's kind of how bourbon. That's one of the theories of how bourbon became bourbon, And so now we have Elijah Craig that comes from Heaven Hill. It's a great product. The barrel proof is it's 12 years old anymore. It's always been 12, but now in the small batches, it's a blend between like an 8 and 10. Mm-hmm. So it's good. We've talked on numerous episodes lately about how I prefer the barrel proof, and it's not necessarily it's about being like gung ho and like being a man and stuff like that, and seeing how much I could take or drink. It's more about the simple fact that you can taste what comes straight from the barrel. It's not proof down, and I also like the fact that it's your choice whether you want to add water to it and proof it. I have the choice to proof it down to what it can be, but they've always made a great product. It's smooth for 131 proof. You can believe that. Touch of water is amazing. I will say with Elijah Craig barrel proof it's better when it sits for about 6 to 7 months. It was actually named the Whiskey of the Year in 2017 and by Whiskey Advocate, and it's also a double gold in the San Francisco Spirits, and it got 95 points. So, but the batch that was in 17 was the B517, and that was amazing after I let it sit for.
A lot of those accolades are for the small batch, correct?
No, it's for this.
It's for this one.
It's for this specifically. Do you want to read off what it says on here?
No, I'm just saying the picture is.
Use that fucking radio voice, Steve.
Yeah, fuck off.
No.
So, I mean, it's based to your standards. It's been sitting now for almost 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Sealed up though, right?
Sealed up.
Yeah.
If that's open, I mean that's good.
I think it would be even better open.
But you also had one of the other bottles I brought.
Yeah, and
how did that mature?
Very well. I mean, I think it's not quite as a sharp, finish when it actually can sit after uncorking it and then corking it back up. Yeah. I mean, it's not that there's a ton of air that hit it after that, but it's just sitting after a while. I think it does smooth out the finish. And honestly, after I put a little bit of water in this, it is
opens up quite nicely.
It does, but I kind of like it without.
I don't do it with water. So personally, I like actually that raw finish to it.
Yeah.
I like how it just feels all the way down.
Yeah, and definitely on the night like tonight, it warms you up a little bit too.
I mean, it's just a good taste. I think it just brings out different flavors and different palates. So I guess, what would you be tasting on this one versus like the one we had last time?
See, and that's tough for me because I don't remember as much of what was really involved in that.
I know with the barrel proofs, most of the time it's not really the taste is kind of consistent, but the difference is the proof levels make different notes change up and down, and sometimes people, especially critics, they think one scent is better than the other, or one taste is better than the other. But the ones that I've tasted, I think they're pretty consistent, and obviously we're not experts, but I think they're pretty consistent on what they are.
I really appreciate when you tell me what notes you actually taste in any.
So what are we tasting? Because I got I'll say ones that I think are kind of obvious, but I mean I'm getting some of that caramel molasses stuff. I mean that's fucking all over it.
Yeah, I mean
that's what, like we always talk about. Like I'm more like the food flavor. You know what I mean? I'm not reaching as far, but it's actually very, very tasty in the sense that I think it's very food-like, which is impressive.
Yeah, it's interesting on this because I think the nose and the taste are different. Where you're getting, what I like about this whiskey is it's one of those ones, even though it's 131 proof, and you stick your nose in the glass, it's not gonna, make your tears jerk, and it's not like super spicy. Like we said, it was like super smooth for being that high of proof, and like Steve said, I smell a lot of brown sugar, molasses. Obviously, there's a huge vanilla note in there.
Oh yeah, that's definitely with it too. Yeah.
And
it just malt.
Are you talking about just the scent, or are you talking about it all together?
I'm just smelling it right now.
If you smell it, you can smell the vanilla to me.
Oh, for sure.
And you can just smell the caramel, and it kind of breaks right through that smell.
But it tastes like that too. That's what I'm saying. It's not just like that.
But if you actually, when you actually let it rest on your tongue and let it actually break down without actually just swallowing it, that's where you can actually taste the notes, in my opinion. So.
This is too. I mean,
you're right.
This is in your face. I agree with that, but I think this is in your face. You can get most of that without having to let it sit. So you get more. It's almost like a little bit like someone dropped one drop of like vanilla extract in there.
I mean, I'll agree with that because like I can't pull my notes as well as you guys can, whether it's taste or smell, and so that's something I'm trying to learn over time from, especially YouTube.
Yeah.
And I can definitely pull that from there.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting rule when you're dealing with a whiskey that is 120, 125, 130 and above, is that when it's a super high proof whiskey, or anything for that matter, it's very, very important that, and we've already been doing it, right? But it's very important that the first like few sips are not very, well, Liz is here, but it's very important.
Sounds like someone's got a suitcase.
Yeah, it's very
Moving in.
moving in.
Shit, she did most of the work in
They
the
don't
house.
see
So.
right now.
Yeah.
So there's the kids.
Bobby, it was great having you as a guest. Good luck in Texas.
Thank you.
See you later.
So now it's just down to the three of us, so those of you on audio.
See you guys.
And by the way out, go fuck yourself.
But getting back to it, it is important that the first like 5 sips or so to not take it as critical and search, as I like to say, because
you get that burn.
Yeah, so
You really taste that burnt? I really don't.
well the problem
It's got
is
some heat. It's got heat. I mean,
I
it's
get
got a
bit,
burn.
Not very much, but a little bit.
I feel like it's just a little bit right here, but once it gets to the stomach, it just
Right. Once
it evens out.
Yeah.
It's not like it leaves a bad.
I've got a
Yeah.
little bit of almost tongue bite on the middle of my tongue.
Okay.
but
Honestly.
after 10 sips or so,
That's what I'm talking about, though.
that goes away though. After
Yeah.
10 sips or so, and then you can
Yeah.
like what I've been doing. It's taking little sips. I'm not like letting it sit on my tongue, but that's not the way I drink. Like that, you were right. That does amplify the
100%.
whiskey constantly. But I can't get anything out of it because it just makes my tongue explode pretty much. Like it's just all, I don't know.
I guess when I actually am drinking any whiskey or a nicer bottle, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I do like just to let it like just melt on my tongue, maybe once or 3 times throughout that drink.
I mean, yeah.
So it just depends on your tolerance and how you feel with that whiskey too.
Yeah, with this one, it stays with you.
Clears you up too.
It lingers.
Chewy,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah. But like I've got a little bit of that like in my chest still. You know what I mean? Like after I haven't had a sip. I mean, I've barely really gotten into that. But that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily a bad burn. Like I don't like the tongue bite. You know what I mean? That's why I would never do it to this one personally. But I mean, that would be something that if we sat this out in the garage, kept the door open for like 20-30 minutes, it would cool like the actual temperature down. Mm-hmm. And I think that would maybe take away some of that, honestly, because it's a little bit of a cooler liquid at that point, and it wouldn't be that tongue bite, I'm telling you.
I guess I've never really tried to do it. Like I know different whiskeys and bourbons will actually chill or not chill or.
Dude, I had Eagle Rare in my trunk for a few days. Brought it in last night, and it was actually cold enough. It wasn't ice cold like it was sitting in the fridge, but it was cooler than normal, and poured a glass, and it was very, very pleasant.
Well, they did that with the Johnny Walker with the Game of Thrones editions. They actually put it through a whole chill process before it was bottled for that Scotch whiskey.
Is that right?
And it actually changes. I know
I
it's
think
not
it
bourbon.
does.
Is that Johnny Walker?
It's Johnny Walker. They called it Johnny White Walker because of the Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
okay.
Okay.
And I'll actually drop off a bottle before. I have like 2 of those bottles in my house. I'll drop one off. It's not a true bourbon, but you can actually then see how you like it and compare it.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say though, based on what Jake was saying, I think I completely with the water or with the Glencairn
No,
glass.
so with the Glencairn glass, especially when
Or did you put
get
smoke in there?
No, I didn't do anything.
Alright.
So getting down to it's important. I've noticed that with Glencairns because I've filled that up about halfway, right? So there's a lot of whiskey in there, but now I'm down to like a little, not a.
What happened to the rest of it?
I drank it,
Oh shit.
but there's a what is that, Bobby? Like I can't put my there's fruit notes in there, and there's a lot of fruit notes. Like when I'm searching.
Like a pine nut.
Yeah.
The
It's
old
a
pine
nut.
fruit.
No, it's like a pine nut. Like
Pineapple.
No,
That's what he said, fruit.
but it's like a pine. So
Wait, did you get apple? A little bit.
Christmas.
What'd you say?
What do you think?
Did you get a little like apple?
I honestly, do you smell a difference? I'm just curious.
Like pine on the nose?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. It smells.
I actually do. When you say pine and you say apple, I get more pine.
Yeah, it's a pine
Just-
nut.
you have
So
the
it's
same
like when they
thing
make.
before?
I'm gonna get like food
Drink
here.
like half
You know,
of
like
it and smell
kidney
it.
from like the Arabic like meatballs.
No,
They use pine nuts in them, and
that's what you get out of it.
that's exactly what I get out of it.
Gotcha.
And it's try it. It's great food, guys. Trust me.
What's it
Kidney.
called?
It's called kidney.
Kidney.
Kibbee. Kidney. It's the best way phonetically. And when it has cinnamon, it's a ground meat, and then they put pine nuts into it. And that pine nut, it's like they put it sometimes in hummus. Something like that pine nut on top of the hummus.
Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah.
That's,
No.
That's more common.
Oh, now I know what exactly.
It's those little
Yes.
like
Yes.
That's what that.
I was
smells
wondering what the
like.
hell those things were.
Yes, they're called pine.
I knew they were nuts, but I didn't know what the hell they were.
So
Nuts!
that's what I pull from it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah.
you also did put a little bit of water, so I'm wondering how it would actually break down without the water diffusing it a little bit.
Yeah, I will say though that tasting it after like swirling it around and like I'm sure our live viewers was like, why does he like keep sticking his nose in the glass? Like, I'm trying to get the shit out there.
I feel. Never mind. I feel like if they've watched long enough, they
You
know
want a
what
special kind of glass
what you're
if you
doing.
want to smell what you're drinking.
I thought you were going to etch off the Knob Creek off of that because that's not what we're drinking.
I know. Well, it's okay.
But I
Sorry,
guess the
buddy.
real question is like, what do you taste from the cigar, and is it pairing nicely with it?
We're not there yet.
I know, but I'm just curious. Like, do you think
Actually, we can talk about that because I don't think that, like, we can come back to this, but I don't think we should have, like, Dan's on his second glass. I mean, I'd say we switch over to the Rebel Yell after this. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
talk
whatever you
about it
wanna
now.
do.
But you've only done one glass?
Yeah. But I poured you guys like.
I did a half pour.
Okay.
I poured all the glasses.
We had a theory that Dan was going to beat Leo, which I will congratulate you. You're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
You beat Leo.
I don't.
We
I
talked
don't know.
about that in the shot today.
Yeah,
it's just-
I understand we did. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
That you beat Leo? Yeah. No, not okay. I get what you're saying. No, that you lasted longer than Leo, but based on that laugh, I don't know how much longer than Leo.
I do appreciate.
But
it.
you
Gee,
were having.
thanks, Dad.
You had, yeah, fuck off. You had a couple of red Solo cups in the shops.
What Ron said.
That's beautiful.
Keep Bobby off the comment section by bringing him on. Brilliant. I agree. Bobby is very, very much different in person than he is on the podcast comments.
Well, he
but
doesn't have enough time to think to type out a
well, no,
message.
he and I discussed it. I mean, it's go ahead, Bobby.
No, I mean it's so when I'm commenting for the viewers, it's me that I'm trying to start up a conversation. I'm basing it off of what they're saying right at that point. So it's really hard if you come in after that point,
Right.
and I need to make sure if I am commenting that it's actually part of the conversation. So it's not to actually pick on anybody in per se. It's just
Yeah.
Sure.
what I'm noticing at that point.
Well, and I think sometimes it's easier when you're not in front. This is any like podcast, any like live, or anytime you are commenting or texting. I mean, this is an age-old thing, and this is something that Bobby and I touched on the other day. And one of the things I talked about coming on, if he's coming on again, in person, I think Bobby is much like this, and it's one of those things that when you're by yourself and you're watching something like this and you're commenting and stuff like that. I'm not saying like you're missing all the time, but like fucking some of the comments will miss, and you like read it, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? And you're not the only one. You're just
Bingo, Dan.
with the frequency trying to contribute, and I like that you're you take time out of your Wednesday to join and enjoy it, obviously. But so when you guys are commenting on the Facebook feed, or if you guys comment on any of the posts that we do, it's one of those things is when you take things out of context, you put it in just text. It doesn't always translate. And that's how it is sometimes when you actually write a text, you write an email, you write a letter. Like when I do the emails for the shop, I go back and I have to read it. And sometimes if I don't think it's sounding right, I actually have to say it quietly out loud to myself so that it's like, does this sound right?
Correct.
That's all it is.
I mean, I'm not, and honestly, like, you would think that I love texting and social media based off of, like, my participation in this. I literally, if you know me, like, I do not text anybody. I am a caller. I have to have that conversation.
Yeah, you are.
I'm more old school in that sense, and it's easier to have a full conversation, be real, understand that person, versus my text or an email for me, because it's not the same. And that's just how I am personally.
Yeah. Look at the legs on that glass.
If I know the person well
It's
enough,
definitely got some
I
legs.
can hear them through their text.
Of
And
course.
that concept to some people can
Definitely
be
different
foreign.
without water.
And it's completely understandable because you're just sitting there looking at a blank screen with text going, I can't tell if they're fucking angry or not. And it just depends on how well you fucking know the person.
What'd you say to them?
What did I say to them?
Yeah, there you go. Answer a question with a question.
Goddamn right.
I sent a meme. I just sent a meme and it was some random thing.
Yes,
Like,
this is how my life was going. Send a meme in response.
Liz and I, and also my roommate Connor and I, we've had literally like day-long conversations where it's just all it is the gifts.
It has to be.
It's just literally like back and forth. No one says anything other than it's like picture after picture after picture after picture, and sadly we
know exactly what you're talking about.
It's actually one of the most entertaining and actually very informative conversations.
Well, if you want added on the meme train, I will add you on the meme train.
Fuck
I
that,
have too many.
No.
I mean,
I'll be like in the other room and Liz is by herself and she is just like dying laughing and I'm just like either she's lost it or she's on her phone. She's fucking looking at memes. She's like the memes. I'm like, fuck. Like I wish I found something that's funny in life that you find right now just randomly.
it was like before we actually started recording, right? What was the first thing that loaded up on my phone on Facebook? It was Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
And what did he say?
You can do it.
You can do it.
But it was like a very inspirational.
It was very inspirational.
And it was a page called Inspirational Quotes.
You
We
can
learned
do
a lot today.
You can do it.
So,
you can do it
honestly,
all night long.
that plays very well into our topic tonight.
It's great.
But we're not there yet.
I know, we're not.
No.
Do you guys like?
We're still on the whiskey.
I'll ask one more question. I'm done. Do you get like a lot
30
of
minutes.
like grain out of the smell?
No.
No, not at all.
Is that what? I mean, what is?
At my level of expertise,
I know.
I will say
Okay.
yes.
I guess.
But I'm like,
I feel like I would. Yeast,
for
Yes,
the
yes.
camera perspective,
but it's not.
I'm
really
down
grain.
here.
I know.
I smell
They're
it.
up here.
What are you doing, Dan?
I'm sorry, we cut you off. What was that, Dan?
No, I know you guys cut me off. I'm just explaining to everyone. I'm down here when it comes to like smells and flavor notes and everything, and you guys are way the fuck up here.
No, it's not that. Because here's the thing.
Do you
The
feel
whole-
inadequate?
Yes.
Is that what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, that's what
I just
we're
want to
dealing
know where he's coming from.
Here's the thing about, and like I've said on the podcast last year when I was here, when I go in a cigar shop, I say, Steve, pick me out a cigar.
That's right.
Because
I've done that to Steve. He hates it.
I don't hate it.
it's just, that was always been my relationship with whoever picks out a cigar.
No, he just walks in. I'm like, what do you want? He's like, a cigar. I'm like, okay.
That's not the same thing, Dan.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, with bourbon or whiskey or whatever you're drinking, I mean, what do you enjoy about it is really what it comes down to. Jake really loves describing the whiskey. He likes knowing those notes. If you like the taste and you can relate it to some type of past or food or something like that, that's a connection. It's almost like music.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's the same concept.
Well, what I'll say too is, I mean, there's two things to that. Is what do you got up there? You got your notes, right?
No, you don't want to hear these.
All right. But I like the flavor wheel that he introduced to the podcast not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I gave him shit because it's like, well, if I'm really searching for it, I take, plum. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? And then he brings out the flavor wheel and like, it's like the dark fruit thing. And it's almost like you're looking at these different categories and you are now just checking things off. Like, all right, dark fruit. Do I taste anything? And it's like, you're not trying to, you don't try to sound pretentious or like that you know more than the next person. Like you're asking, like, and that's what I was joking about you feeling inadequate. And it's not even that. There are things that sometimes you have to use the tools. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's educating yourself. You read other people's reviews that you trust what they have to say. But at the same time, if it's just you and the whiskey, you and the cigar, you and the wine, you and whatever it is, anything really, it's about it's looking at the overall guide that you've had. Yeah. So I think that's very cool.
I think the important part to know and to learn about what we're really talking about and about the whiskey and like wanting to know like how either I or how someone picks out notes and stuff. It's just about like training your whiskey or your knowledge and trying different stuff. That's all it is. Like everything that I don't say or everything that I say doesn't mean that like Bobby or Steve or Dan or anyone for that matter is going to think the exact same. It's just like what I smell, right? And I think it's a way to be creative about it. Like I don't like taking especially whiskey reviews like really, really critical. I like looking at them as kind of a way to maybe find something. Yeah, it's a guide, really. Yeah, exactly, Bobby. And it's a guide to where you can maybe make a decision for yourself and maybe steer your way somewhere so you can train your senses and everything like that. But.
And that's absolutely one of the things I love, especially since I'm compared to you guys, I would absolutely be a novice when it comes to picking out flavor notes or smells or anything when it comes to whiskeys or cigars or pairing both of them.
True.
And that's something that I absolutely love is you guys give me the guide to pick out those flavor notes, and it simplifies it for me to come down to the basics and go, yeah, this is what I find, this is what I'm smelling out of it.
Yeah. And
you guys help me expand on that. And that's something I absolutely appreciate.
Well, it's educating yourself, but I will say also to what Bobby was saying, that was my second point, was the fact that it's what you enjoy.
It's your experience.
So it's
right.
about trying different things. That's, again, it's a metaphor for life, but I mean, as far as cigars, whiskeys, and all that stuff, it's just because someone tells you it's good, it's not necessarily an acquired taste. If you don't like it, or you like something else better, and they say, no, it's not a very good cigar, that's not a very good whiskey, it's if you enjoy it, fuck it, that's fine. Just enjoy it and keep trying different things, because maybe you'll come on common ground. But you'll also find that there are people out there, there's certain cigar companies, if you will, that I can tell that I don't really care for what the master blender, especially the smaller companies, I just don't, we don't have the same palate.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're maybe blending, or a master distiller is doing the same thing, but what they are liking, or what they think the consumers will like, and that's the other aspect of it, is it's not necessarily what they like, it's what they think the consumer is going to enjoy. That's where you might have that run-in where it's they're missing the mark, but you just have a different palate than most people. So now all of a sudden the bottle you really like is doing well enough that there's people with shared palates that you have, but not the majority. But it's selling enough that they're still selling it.
It's like the bottle proof question, why do you want something that's higher proof? It's exactly what that is.
Well, I mean, but that's I think it really comes down to, it's not about the proof or the bottle. It's just that even some people don't explain it or are able to relate to how you process information.
Right.
So at the end of the day, yes, it comes down to palate and what you actually enjoy. But if someone's explaining something to you and you don't understand a word they're saying, and it's not under your level or your speech, it just turns into I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know if I even like it. I don't know if I'm even going to enjoy it because I don't relate with you.
Yeah.
So if you're relating well with Jake and Steve on the podcast when they're going over the notes, that means you're enjoying the content, and then you actually get to pick out the things that you remember from that cast.
Right.
But see, I'm one of the people that I enjoy the times that I have no idea and completely disagree with what they're saying about the notes. Because then I'm looking for it and searching for it, and then most of the time I can find it, and I'm like, holy shit, you're right. That's what I like, because then it's a new experience.
Yeah.
And let's not get it twisted, that's what this is. It's a new experience every time on a podcast. That's why we do the cigar, that's why we do the whiskey, and the fact that we enjoy it. So.
And you can relate to life in any way or form, and that's what makes it a great show and a great time for everybody to just to tune in and enjoy the class, like how we do every Wednesday.
Absolutely, and it's just especially coming into different cigars and the way people find tastes or notes or anything from that. I go into the cigar shop and I smoke what I know that I've smoked before and what I enjoy. And if Jake or Steve come out and say, hey, why don't you try this or try that? And I trust these guys, so I'll trust them with a new cigar with whatever flavor notes I'll pull from it. And that's why I listen to them and find out what they pull from it, what they think about it, and it just forces me to think about it and go, all right, this is what I enjoy about the cigar, this is what I don't enjoy, this is how I pick my favorite smokes.
Yeah, and anything else that you have to communicate then at that point, because if you, Bobby, it's.
I don't actually communicate when I smoke the cigar. I'm sorry.
Well, you don't, and so it's
hard for me to say.
It's good and bad, but it's if I give you something, if you act indifferent all the time, you know what I mean? When you come in, you act indifferent about what do you want? It's only dealer's choice is the term you use, which I like.
I say dealer's choice. Be tell me what you want me to have.
But to help the dealer, if you will, then it's a matter of communicating back. It's what'd you think? And you're like, oh, it's good. It's it's either you really like it or you don't, because that's where really you can hone in on what you might like. Oh, you really like that one? Cool. I have another one that you probably will like as well. And it's not always because it's very, very similar. It's the same thing. It's just the fact that, like, based off of that, I like that, so I'm going to tell you what else I like, so maybe you'll like that, and then we might miss. But you have to tell them that it's a miss.
That's how you do things, though, Steve.
But that's what he's good about.
Yeah, he's great about it.
Well, I mean, because I don't know, that's the way it works. And honestly, I'll tell you,
Like, it's finite, like, that's the only way
I'll say
it works.
well, because that's how you relate to people. Because it's like, if you say something that, if I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you something, and I don't tell you that it's something that I didn't enjoy, and you come back and you're like, dude, that was really good. I'm like, cool, let me give you something else I really don't enjoy. And now all of a sudden it's like, whatever I like, whatever I don't like, you might actually really like. And again, we might come across a miss and be like, oh, it's fucking terrible. Like, I agree, but I was on 5 in a row that I think is not a good cigar. Like, for me, like, it's constructed well, but the taste is terrible. And all of a sudden it's like, well, you like Dominican blah, 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 the tobacco that's in some of these cigars that I don't enjoy the flavor of. And that's fine.
I guess for me, though, it's like, the reason why I go to the Tinder Box, it's because my friends are there. It's And the thing is, when I get a cigar and I say dealer's choice, and unless you bring it up and say, hey, what do you pull from it? And have that conversation. If it's not busy in the shop, first off.
Yeah, right. You are respectful of that, which I appreciate.
And it's understandable because you guys are always busy, you guys are always working, and you know your clients. And that's, first off, hands down for any business that can do that. Right. Second off, it's more for me, it's like, I want to know I just want to be there for the crowd. And I will tell you if I don't like it. I mean, because I love the banter. It's all about banter and having a good time. And this is why the podcast relates to me. It's because it's banter and a good time. If I don't have a chance to pick on Jake, especially in the comments, it's because I miss Jake in a weird way. Or I don't get a chance to pick on...
It is weird, yeah.
No, I mean, but it's just...
It is normally me, though.
But it doesn't
he
matter.
He misses you a lot, alright? Now, if I took anything away from this conversation...
it's just that I like relating with the viewers or with even the host. It's just, it's a good environment.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
We appreciate it, man.
So before we get to the cigar real quick, unless we have more to say about the whiskey, I think that was a good segue. Like Tyler said on there, casually watching in the campus library, and I think everyone near me heard you guys laugh through my headphones. No shame, though. And there's two things. Thank you. Also, I love how you spelled though. Fucking THO. I am getting more and more texts and comments from people, and Tyler's actually in his 20s, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm getting more and more texts from like people in their 50s that are like saying you with like the letter U, which I have like, it's fine. I get it. No, I think it's fine. I'm not like making fun or saying it's wrong. It's just like, well, it's finally made it's finally made the barrier, because there was a time where like 50-some-year-old people would just flat out be like, fucking youth, they're just like, they're gonna not know how to spell, and they just finally gave in. They're like, fuck it, they're gonna be running this world by the time I'm about to go out. I better be nice to them.
Yeah,
might as well join them.
Now they're worse.
That's the way I look at it.
But now they're worse about it. It's like when it's like, or
No,
like
no,
they're beyond worse.
I'm sorry we made anagrams. Fuck you everything.
One second. I was talking to one of the friends.
First off, if anybody has a text from Steve that says you back to him, from him, please send it to us.
No,
straight judge, like, not me, dude.
No, Tyler is exactly right. The freaking, like, if somebody K's me in a text, I'm hot, man.
We had a whole conversation about that before the
fucking
podcast.
K me.
Can I just do K-A-Y?
That's someone's name.
It's not the jeweler K. It's not K. But no.
Kiss begins
Can I explain? This is. I love when we brought this up. One example.
All right, go on.
One example of this shit is like the groundsman that's like 50 years old.
Ray Chester sounded like a super, like, just fucking get off my lawn guy.
I know.
Write your text out in full, exclamation point. He did put a smiley emoji, so, all right, you soften it up a little bit, Ray. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Now you can't yell at someone. Write your text out in full, and then throw a laughing emoji after it, Ray.
Well, this example
Loses effectiveness. Go
This
on.
example
Should
is
be all cap locks then?
this groundsman at like the green line. Oh, hold on.
He said, don't say that, Jake. Now Bobby will comment K all the time.
Jesus.
Just don't do it 3 times in a row.
Can I get my
It's like
example?
Beetlejuice rules?
No, it's racist.
Just write K 3 times.
Oh, I obviously I went over my head.
There you go.
So this
Thank you for explaining the
example
joke.
with this guy, like I've never been messaged TY before.
Really?
Never.
See, but we
How
always.
old is this person? No, hang on.
He's like 55.
So that's what I'm saying is that it was the.
I've never messaged someone.
So, but here's the thing, like so at work, I'm at Verizon. I literally am messaging people to do stuff on different accounts.
Like this is the internal direct messaging.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm literally saying, like, at the end of the day, I'm doing something else. I put TY because they already. It's just proper saying thank you, but I don't want to type it all out.
You know what anagram I would love to like make it like when people were doing this actually for a reason in emails before like texts were big was NRN. Does anyone know what that means?
No, not at all.
Huh?
Not right now.
No.
it's
No response necessary.
yes.
That was something that tried to make it into like corporate world because it's like we don't need to keep sending it back. Be like that whole thing. It's like, hey, I need you to do this, and then it's like, okay, I'll get right on it. It's like, I need you to do this. NRN. Note like, I see that you received the email. I sent the email. I don't need acknowledgement back. I'm not asking you a question. I'm saying like, hey, I need you to do this, or hey, I'm doing this. NRN. No response necessary. It's just like we don't need to keep this going back and forth. My point was is that the TY and all that shit is that what happened was is that the millennials.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
No, when you were
Millennials.
teenagers,
Millennials,
whatever. It is actually your generation.
Oh, there was bad.
The 20-some-year-olds went because that was the thing. I mean, you think about the texting was big with the sidekick and everything else, and it was the T9 was one thing, but then when it got to the sidekick, no, it was one of those things where when the iPhone came out in 2007. So, like, how old were you in 2007, Jake?
Oh hell, I was like 11 or 12.
All right, so the iPhone didn't exist at all in your youth, right? So then it became something that everyone's texting with a full keyboard, full
QWERTY?
Yeah, there it is.
The full
I was about to
keyboard?
say that he laughed at something and said, Pat Styles is on the feed there.
I said fucking millennials, but FKN.
I love it. That was such good execution. I'll tell you that right now. But so what happened was that I think now the old generation, it's like it's not they're trying to necessarily relate actively, but that's what's happening. And so now it's one of those things that like when the kids were doing it, and then the other people, like the older people, tried to be with it. Then all of a sudden things have moved forward, and it's like they're still
parents.
trying. So it's like doing this, like they're going up, and the parents are doing this, and then all of a sudden they do this, and they're like, fuck, and they miss. No, I mean, like they just totally miss. Like, you're not cool, Dad. You're not cool, Mom. You're not cool.
It's like parents
But
with
here's the
Facebook.
thing. But like, so growing up in corporate
Yeah.
world,
Finally, the parents get on Facebook, and all the kids are getting off of it, and you're like, well, shit.
Because they ruined it.
Or they just make a second account so they don't get caught doing
Everybody's
drugs.
always
That's
like,
supposed
oh,
to.
I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Like everywhere they go in a day.
but we
it's
are
like
also
they're-
doing that right now, saying we're here at the podcast.
No, but we didn't put Steve's
Okay,
garage
well,
as the
you know
location.
what?
But it
Oh,
is.
fuck, I didn't put it on there yet, yeah.
God damn it, Steve.
Wait to go.
So
Sorry, I've been
WTG.
busy not to fucking
WTG.
geotag this place yet.
You did it with your first garage, now you won't do it with the second one.
I gotta
How are
cancel
we
that.
supposed to properly christen this
I got
place?
you.
Alright, so to the cigar.
To the cigar.
Alright, Bob,
real,
go.
real quick question.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta remember too, like in emails,
We're gonna
what's
set records at this first one in the garage.
what's the actual etiquette? There's no actual rules of etiquette anymore of how to communicate.
What's crazy about email anymore, to me, is typically used for mass emails.
Correct.
Right? So, and I'm not in the corporate world anymore, but I do communicate through email to vendors and such. What I've found is that even most of these people that I do communication with, texting is more efficient. It's direct and everything else. So if it's just a direct question or whatever it is, that's the way that a lot of people communicate. I think the corporate world's the same way, except for when you're actually sitting down at a desk and you're actually trying to have a paper trail of a conversation. Now it's email.
Yeah.
But if you're just like shooting a quick text to someone that you work with, or you have like again a vendor or something like that, hey, can we do this real quick? But if you want it to be more professional and have it be a paper trail, you do the email route.
No, makes
That's
sense.
the way I look at it.
No, I mean that makes sense. I guess to me it's just like I don't know what the that's why I don't text. I don't know what the etiquette anymore is because it's just like I'd rather have a phone conversation, be done with it. I know what's going on.
And that's the easy way for it. Like my my least favorite thing is getting a text, whether it's from coworkers, friends, or family, and they're like, hey, what are you doing right now? You know, whether or not they know my work schedule, you know, it happens, I understand. But, like, my thing is, like, if I ask somebody what they're doing, I'm going to include in that text message, whether it be a text message or an email, like, hey, what are you doing right now? This is what I need, etc., just hit me back. So I get the messages of, like, just, hey, what are you doing right now? Stops right there. And then I just, reply back. I'm working or I'm off work. and then I get the reply of, afterwards, of, like, what they need. And it's like, no. You don't understand. Include that in the first message so I can tell you whether or not I'm at work or not.
That's the communication podcast, right? I mean, that's the other
right.
thing. It's like, I don't care, like, and if you tether to your job through your the phone you carry with you, it doesn't matter if it's text, if it's email, whatever, you get it out there, but just be fucking clear. That's it.
Exactly.
Just don't.
Exactly.
You mean less is more?
No, not. Yes, but I'm saying if you write an email, I'm not saying write a full
Hey,
have
WYD.
no, don't have like an intro, a body, and a conclusion. I don't even know what you fucking said. What did you say?
He said
write an
WYD.
email. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
If you put fucking
WYD.
if you put that in an email, you should be fired immediately. That should be in every corporate handbook out there.
If you're
Take
writing
it
a
from
fucking
me.
email,
If
you should be able to
all
write
right,
the entirety of what you
here's my
need in
thing.
one email.
You do a text message and you do the shorthand, that's fine. You do a shorthand and an email, get the fuck out of my office, you're fucking fired.
I'm happy you're my boss, Steve.
Sorry, Dad.
You got a good
Come
day.
in and throw your fucking laptop off the fucking wall and be like, you're fired, get out. You owe us for the laptop. Yeah, TPS.
So what are we smoking tonight, Steve?
The My Father. Thank you.
Yes, topic change.
The My Father. So I like this one. The reason I picked it was My Father Cigars over the last 10 plus years. So going on 15 years. Don Pepin, so Jose Garcia, Don Pepin, has been doing blending cigars for quite some time. He came from into Miami, right, and then was working with. We talked about tropical tobacco at one point, but one of the cool things about the actual My Father brand name, I don't think we ever really got to that point. We talked about Don Pepin, we talked about when we did the Raduege and everything else.
I think we did when we were talking about the surrogate. Remember we got into My Father.
We talked about that, and then we did the Raduege, which was also a My Father project and everything else. But what I like about this is that the story, as far as the origin of the name My Father Cigars, does anyone at this table know it?
No.
Huh?
Enlighten me, please.
Enlighten you. So, Jose, Don Pepin, his son, Jaime, which there is also a cigar that they make called the Jaime Garcia, which is a very full body, which I enjoy as well.
I wish we'd get that
But
back in the shop.
We do have it.
We did?
We got it back, yeah. So,
I never know these things.
you know, so I've got one of these articles pulled up while to refresh my memory on this one. But I remember this My Father first came out. I really, really enjoyed it. I was smoking a ton of them. This is before I started working in the industry. So Don Pepin had met Pete Johnson at one point, and that's who blended the Tatuaje. That's how Pete Johnson got involved with all that way back, going back again 10 plus years. So this article, for example, says that was the first to achieve fame. He had his name tied to maybe more behind the scenes before that, and he knows what he's doing. The cool thing about this one, and I don't know how much is story and how much is actual fact, but I do enjoy the story that Jaime basically down in Nicaragua was working on a secret project. And so he was working on these few different blends and everything else. And so then Don Pepin, so Jose got caught wind of this, and it was something that he was like, well, what's going on? Because he wasn't in the loop about this. What are you guys working on over here type of a thing? You know what I mean? I caught wind that you're working on a project and I'm not in the loop. Well, so what happened was that Jaime basically gave him a few cigars to smoke, and then when he smoked them, he was really, really enjoying these cigars, and that's when Jaime said, I want to call these My Father. So it was an ode to his dad that really kind of spawned this My Father. Not everyone knows why it's called My Father, but it's actually that story is what they claim is what brought that on, is that Jaime was blending the cigar, and this is the cigar. So the cigar we're smoking is, and that's where you actually add an element of, I don't know, like relatability. I mean, it's something that you relate to. It's something that you can actually, you're smoking something that one man actually blended in secrecy, in a sense, you know, in the factory for his dad, and then it was all in basically a celebration of his father, and he said, I want to call it my father. And that's where this blew up.
And that's from him.
Yeah, so Jaime, the story is that Jaime blended this cigar, and it's got it's a Habano seed, Ecuadorian Habano, which is a very popular wrapper leaf, and that's also blended with filler binder that the Garcias also grow. So they are farmers as well, but they also have a factory, obviously. So they, you know, we've talked about this. I think we have smoked several cigars by them, but it's, you know, La Roma de Cuba, so Ashton, you know, they do a lot with that. San Cristobal, they do all the Tatuajes, they do the Surrogates, which you brought up, Jake. But it's something that it's very, very cool for me to see, you know, the MF on there for My Father. And when you're actually, you know, people smoke these cigars and they've really done well. Don Pepin has had a very, very successful career as far as being a master blender, and now he's passing along. So you have Jaime, and then you have Yanni, the daughter, who is actually, I think they're engaged. I don't know if they're still not engaged or if they're married, but like now that's Pete Johnson and Yanni are actually together, and so it's very family oriented when it comes down to this Garcia family. But what you see on most of their cigars somewhere is My Father Cigars, which is all spawned off of this whole story, which is, I think, very, very cool.
I have a couple questions,
Go on.
Steve. With so you didn't mention the binder or the filler. Are those proprietary?
All Nicaraguan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much more about it. I don't know if it's out there. I've never really learned, you know, what seed, but I know it's a Nicaraguan filler binder over an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Cool.
So, I mean, again, it's something that they grow, but maybe if I dove in deeper. The sad part is that, you know, for us in the Columbus area, and I'm not saying this, and if anyone's listening that's involved in this company, is that the rep that does My Father for our territory is a company that they do very well. They have some bigger names. They have multiple things in their portfolio, so they're like a major like broker rep, very successful business. However, we don't see them very often. We don't have the same type of, like Nook was on tonight, Kylie's on tonight, our podcast. We have these people that, you know, actually will be that bridge from their corporate part, but the corporate part for cigars a lot of times is this family side of it. So even doing the Smoking 10 event, originally it was like, my hope was to get Pete Johnson there. My hope was to get some of the Garcias there and all that stuff. The only time I see them is when I went to the IPCPR and they were there, but they don't know who we are.
Have you talked to them?
It's almost like a step off of Padron. So like they could have their own internal sales, but they don't want to do that. So that's why they have brokers. They'll pay a percentage of sales. They have done so well that their cigars are selling themselves. Therefore, if you get a good broker that knows how to churn out product as far as sales and keep at least in touch, so that this company that brokers them, they're calling every week. So we love the girls in the office. They've all been fantastic, right? But when you get down to like the IPCPR, it's not the broker guy. He's got a staff. Then you work with the staff. So it's almost like a middleman, but it's like the rep is another business that's now repping this business. I personally think that, and no offense to anyone in the industry if you're listening, but my personal thing is that if My Father and Tatuaje and Surrogates and L'Atelier, really, or not Surrogates, but L'Atelier, who does Surrogates, if you had your internal rep in the Ohio area or the Midwest area, it would just take it to another level. I don't know if they want to do that or if this is their comfort level and their growth, because if you grow too fast in any business, you open yourself up to new problems. So if they're doing well enough right now and they've gotten supply and demand and they have a healthy growth model and that everyone's taken care of, fucking keep doing it. That's fine. I just think that they are so successful and they put out such good products. This is one of them. And the story is so great. But I don't know when the last time that, say, our rep or any other rep has told this story, because, for example, the one I just brought up is from, I think, 2009, when this was actually rated.
Wow.
So you're going back 10 fucking years if you really dive into it. So this cigar, the reason I picked it because I wanted to do a My Father product, because I really do enjoy them. It's really slowed down. Not many people smoke this cigar anymore, and I think it's fantastic. It's got a story that you can really relate to, or at least admire, whether or not it's the gospel or not. But it's just like, why wouldn't you be still boasting this? Now, granted, they put out a new cigar that's hitting the top 25 every fucking year after year after year. But
They
go back
released
to your
like
favorites.
2 cigars just like last year. That Opalencia and then the Oferta.
The Oferta, then it was La Opulencia, before that was the Judge, before that was, you had the La Dueña, you had the H2KCT, you had, so I mean, it's like all of that, I mean, everything they're putting out is just as Brad Grimsley, who's been on before, it's fucking lights out. But you don't have someone really, they're riding the wave of the information, which is what we're doing, which is like internet, they advertise in Cigar Aficionado, which is, I mean, it's the way of the industry, which is great. I think you put a personal touch on it, and you have something that is more tangible than you actually can recognize.
It's a hometown hero, basically.
Yeah, you have someone actually being the face of your company when it comes down to it.
See, the difference with the cigars, though, it's interesting that, like, you can, tell that this isn't bullshit, like
Right.
these family stories. I think anymore, with the whiskey community and the whiskey arena there, these stories are trying to...
Well, they build up the stories again.
Well, they're just, like, creating bullshit.
I don't agree with that. I guess with whiskeys is like, so if you actually go to the tours or you go down there, you
Yeah.
actually see the stories, you are enthused by it. I guess my question would be more towards Steve is, why haven't you asked the people from the company, the girls that you talk to, can you give me an actual answer? So where's the accountability at? No offense.
No, I think it's great. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's like, we worked with Madi for a while there, and her and I, like, we actually follow each other on Instagram, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's nothing cigar based, it's just random, where it's something where, when I saw her down the IPCPR, we actually put a face to a name, and then we started following each other, on Instagram, and I don't know about Facebook, but it's something that you just have that personal connection. But when she called in, it was just like, talk about the weather, you talk about all this stuff. It's actually, in my opinion, more old school, where she is a account manager or whatever you want to call it, but she's doing all the work. But she's not like, if I had an event for my father,
Who was representing?
who's coming down for it?
So
No, we're gonna rep ourselves, and the person that's running it, that's representing this company, he or she may or may not be there. And it's caused problems over the years, at least in the 6 years that I've been in the industry, because of more relative to it was the Smoking Tent event with someone from L'Atelier, and then it came to the broker was in the middle of it, and I got I got the short end of the stick representing the Tinder Box, and then I got thrown on the bus, which I absolutely assumed would happen if something came up. And you know me, I'm honest, and I talk to both parties. But you can't do a whole lot about it. So
I guess I feel like you can, though. It's like, if someone's not giving you the answers, especially in life, I'm gonna go get the answers. Like, hey, can you give me this answer straight up? Like,
it gets
I
down
go
to
straight to the point.
Yeah. But you and I talked about it earlier. Even like showing you the new house, and you're like about the HOA, which is not a problem here. But it's one of those things. In this industry, it's like, you know what? I'll just sell other cigars, and now this will just like I've told you my piece.
Yes.
And whether or not you want to actually roll with that or not, and I think the person that that with that L'Atelier that I felt that I was going to get thrown on the bus, even though it wasn't. I just told him this is what the rep said, and now this is where we're at. So that's why you're not involved in this
Whatever
project. Whatever, yeah. It's up to them if they want to like actually pursue that, or they just deal with the rest of the country. I'm not saying anything personally. That's not why I brought this up.
I'm not saying it's not personal.
No, I'm not bringing this up because of that. I'm literally looking at it as that we're smoking one of my favorite cigars.
It's a great cigar.
I'd say top 20 cigars for me, and I love the brand. What I'm saying is that I absolutely would love to see someone that is projecting this cigar to the consumer. Because have you smoked with My Father, Jake?
This
one?
Oh yeah, I really enjoy
Bobby?
it.
I've had it probably from Dealer's Choice.
Dan.
I've had them a couple of times.
And then what do you guys think of the cigar? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it's good? Do you don't care for it? What do you guys think?
I think it's a great cigar, and I love the story behind it. I didn't know the story about it, so thanks Steve, for sharing that.
Right.
And that, just side note, I like that, and I agree with you, Steve, because that's one of those things where, like, what's his face from Gurkha, when we had the Gurkha event?
Juan Lopez, yeah.
Yeah, like hearing that story.
Fucking just
Never
you'll smoke a Gurkha if you feel like a Gurkha, you're gonna smoke a Gurkha.
Exactly. Like I never smoked a
Before,
Gurkha in
yeah.
my life. I didn't give a shit to. And then like I hear that story and it's like, wow. I mean, and it's not bullshit, right? And then I like My Father's. What the first thing that came out to me with My Father's, even when I didn't know anything, was the fact that I think they are truly known for their band work on their cigars. I mean, the bands are all they're just amazing.
Bands, boxes are classic.
The embossments, the color, the detail on all the bands, it's unbelievable. I mean, if you look at like the H2K and the Judge and all of them.
Alan Wallace, My Father's CDM. I'm drawing a blank on that one. What is that? He said it's the best stick in my opinion. So why continue?
Yeah, no, I mean that's one thing, but I would put this cigar in a medium range. I think it's a great cigar. I think it's a good size. What is it, like 5 by?
This is a
40.
Robusto.
This is 5 by like or 4. It's 5, right?
It's 5 by
56.
No,
54?
not that thick. I'd say 5 by 52.
52. Okay. Well, I think it's a good cigar.
I don't know
Like
if
I
they have a
said,
label around
medium
it, so.
body. I can't retrohale,
No, the actual
but
seller.
I like the aroma off of it. It's one of those cigars that you smoke, and if someone's smoking around you, you can definitely smell it. And it's a good aroma. It's not one of those ones where it's like going to make you cringe. But
this cigar, and what I like about this, because before, Bobby brought over the Elijah Craig, we were going to do the Rebel Yell, which is a very budget-friendly whiskey. This is the cigar that the first time I've alluded to it on previous podcasts that I'm not a big fan of like the real smoky peaty scotches. Mm-hmm. So when we were celebrating something, this is years back, that Brian brought in a Lafroy.
10.
It was a Lafroy 10.
It's very smoky.
Very smoky, very peaty. It's like those are the
great.
ones.
It's great.
It's great. But if I drink that on its own, it fucking tightens up down my spine, and I'm just like, what the
gives me a headache.
And if you even smoke with it, you're like, what's going on? It's like a double dose.
This cigar right here. I picked this cigar that day because I was like, all right, medium bodied, something I know I enjoy, but let's see. This cigar with Lafroy 10, if we were going to actually pair something, and maybe we'll do that just on a side note on a podcast coming up, do that.
Short episode.
My Father with Lafroy 10. And like Nate says, can't stand Lafroy 10. Nate, try it with My Father. I'm telling you, it really like calmed everything down. It had enough. It's not like this super full body cigar. It's smoky enough. It's got something that it counteracted that what I get from like a Lafroy 10.
That makes perfect sense. But I guess for me, even with the cigar, is just here like even with my wife, she's a designer. When she designs a clothing line, there's a story behind that line.
Yeah.
Just hearing the story behind this cigar for My Father.
You want to smoke it?
It's not even just that I want to smoke it. I can relate to it.
Yeah, but now you're gonna like look at it. You're like, what? I feel like doing that.
From all the cigars, I've smoked a ton of cigars without knowing anything about them. But I'm gonna remember this label now based off that story, which touches any type of label, which brings up that connection to that company.
Sure.
And it's a brand. It makes me really enjoy this even more.
Well, before we get into the topic, and I'm going to save this here real quick, but it's one of those things where, like, that's the whole thing where you guys we got, Jake talks about it all the time. We got BS, t-shirt, we got BS hoodie, I got a BS hoodie on. It's one of those things that, one of the reasons that I feel like, Dan, what are you doing? Is that too close to you? Were you feeling comfortable?
Just a little bit.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Coach.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, it
Sorry,
was...
Coach. Sorry, the trash can was a little too close to me.
I'm sorry. It was moving on you. What I mean is that, like, that's why people buy from people like, just leave it alone. People buy from people that, like, that's the whole thing about the BS thing, is that if you know Brian, you know me, it's something that, not like Jake says it plenty. Thank you for not putting out a shitty cigar in a sense.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as the cigar is good, if there's a good story behind it, if you have identity to it, it will do well.
It's relatable.
Yeah, if you're a good person.
Well, it would have sucked if they would have made a good, like a bad cigar.
You better have fucking bought it still.
It would have sucked.
But you know how Steve is. I mean, he's a perfectionist in everything he does, and he's really good at it, though.
Not true.
It is true. You're the most genuine person I ever know, honestly.
Cheers to that. Thank you.
Cheers.
It's very sweet of you said.
And honestly, like, when it comes down to the podcast or cigars or anything, that's why I could say dealer's choice when I come in there. Honestly. And it turns into these great stories, these great conversations.
Yeah.
This, like, honestly, I just want to take the clip of what you just said about my father and send it to him. Because honestly, it was the most heartfelt conversation about a cigar I've actually witnessed.
That's
in the
nice,
podcast.
yeah.
And it's amazing.
Well, that's the whole point of it is that they did it, they made their nut off of it, if you will, and now they got to make something else. That's how it works, right? That's the business side of it.
Of course.
Which is, you translate that, but don't lose the identity. Like, that's what I think with the My Father brand, they have things. I was going to pick the Don Pepin Garcia original, the blue, which I actually smoked today. That's why I picked My Father. I was like, no, that might be a little bit rough compared to Rebel Yell before we were going to do the Elijah Craig. But
Imagine if we would have done that with the barrel proof.
it would have been too much.
Oh my
It would
gosh.
have been too much.
Oh my gosh.
All right. It would have been too much.
Everything happens for a reason.
But I like it. So Alan Wall says, My Father exclusive for Casa de Montecristo in Chicago. I have never smoked that. I've never smoked that. So I would love to. I think it's great. So Alan, if you want to send at least 2, maybe 4 cigars to My Father, Casa de Monte.
It'd be great.
Yeah. We'd
Just
love
in
to
case.
try it. And if I don't know if Alan is in Chicago or if you're local or whatever, but Alan, keep chiming in. It's great having you on. So if we ever get you as a guest here locally, or if we ever get you as a guest, just an enthusiast, that'd be fantastic.
What'd you think, Dan, of the cigar?
Honestly, I thought it was a smooth cigar. It was something that was easy to smoke, and the flavor for me compared to you guys, it was something easy for me to pick up on. It's not a cigar that I'll smoke once and go, I don't care for this. No, it's something that I can pick up, I can enjoy, I can smoke it a lot. It's something I'd look to you guys when pairing it and go, hey, what kind of notes do you guys pick from it?
Right.
Because it's something I enjoy, and I want to be able to pick up those same notes.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's like,
It's smooth.
yeah, it's just smooth. I like,
All the way through.
I like it. I like the fact that it's creamy. I like cigars that are cedary, if that makes
This
sense.
is cedary. I will not agree with you on the creamy side.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's bitter?
No.
It's smooth.
See, that's interesting you say that. I don't think the opposite of creamy is bitter. I just don't think it's creamy.
Okay.
To me.
It's
I would
say
say cedary, a slight spice to it. Not
Not a lot of
pepper.
spice.
Not pepper. Like a little bit of spice to it.
I think it's rich though.
Yeah.
I think it's a rich. I think it's
I
a
don't-
full body cigar without being full body.
It feels like a light body cigar with the richness.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
a body.
Yeah.
Because it's a very light, to me, it's a
We're
light
saying the
cigar.
same thing except
No.
different ways.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's a light cigar in my opinion.
Who retrohales around the table?
Meaning, explain.
Through the nose.
I've never, I mean, I can. So do you want me to do that? Okay.
You can without inhaling.
Oh, so the taste.
Yeah. It opens it up if you
Oh,
do that.
I never knew that.
Yeah, alright.
It's cool to see that live. Like, to someone be like, "Holy shit!"
We'll have another talk on that.
No, I've never.
Alright.
That was funny.
Save it right now. We'll dive back in. Who needs water real quick? While everyone's listening. Everyone got a water?
I got a water.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright.
Are you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Alright. Let's roll with this.
Now? No, I mean, I've never, until you just, I didn't even know the term.
Retrohaling is a thing, and I'm sorry I didn't teach you earlier.
I'm sorry that I'm just a novice in everything.
Now you have something to take down in Texas, and you're gonna be fucking blown up.
Tejas?
That's right. You're gonna be blown.
Tejas.
You're gonna be blown my phone up.
No, I mean, that really,
Changed it.
oh, so I smoke hookah, and the hookah when
I blow it through you.
I blow it and I can taste.
But you inhale that. Did you
I
inhale that?
No, I didn't. I mean, I think I maybe.
Okay. Retrohaling is technically when you I don't inhale the cigar. It's literally you draw it in and then you push it through your nose, and it's something that when you get it, it's done. Like you can't not go. Like for me, I can't go away from it.
No, I feel like I'm gonna start. I don't know. I guess for me, because I've always smoked hookah, I smoke it, I inhale it, and I blow it out through my nose, and I
Right.
enjoy the taste
Right.
of it through my nose. I just never thought about, because you're not supposed to inhale a cigar.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
So it's more or less that it was weird for me because I did inhale a little bit, and then I blew it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it really just changed the whole aspect of the whole cigar, especially in that third
And that's
leg.
what it does.
Did it bring in the spice?
No, it was on the third leg. It actually was even smoother.
Huh.
So
For me, at least. Is that wrong, or is that, how would you just, because there's 3 stages
on
of
this cigar, yes, it is a little bit smoother.
So I
Like
I
so
did
the
feel that.
BS Silver, which I've got on the table, excuse me. BS Silver that I have on the table, on the Toro size, 54 ring gauge, you retrohale that, it's a pepper
That's
bomb.
amazing.
It's a pepper bomb. So next time you smoke a BS Silver, it is a pepper bomb. So when we light up the Montecristo Nicaragua Series, this is something that adds to it.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, does that
Because your nasal, so like, think about like pipe tobacco for those of you guys that have been around pipe tobacco or whatever. But the aromatics are so popular because it's something that you smell in the air, and once it's burning, the oils are released, as far as the tobacco. Same thing as when you smell a cigar. If you like the smell of a cigar, when you light the fire to it, that's it. I mean, the oils are starting to really get heated up. That's the aroma that comes off of it. It's not just a combustion thing, but it's all that oil coming through there that as it gets heated up, it puts the aroma in the air. So if you enjoy that, with the retrohale, it's fresh, right? So it's like it's different than just like putting your nose at the end of like someone else's cigar. You like smell the smoke coming off the foot. It's something where you have that fresh, in a sense, intake into your mouth and through your nasal cavity. Now all of a sudden, your sense of taste and smell, which smell is arguably, especially with memory, but scent is something that is so powerful that we all take for granted.
I was gonna say that. You went.
So go ahead.
No. You were talking, but the statistic on or the percentage of smell contributing to taste.
I do not.
It's over 65%.
Say that again.
It's over 60. So over 65% of smell is contributed to taste.
Yeah.
I guess, but I would think that with taste, it's based off how many taste buds you actually have on your tongue and how you're actually digesting that. Just like how you let the whiskey melt on your tongue.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a whole different palate versus actually smelling it from your special glass.
Well, it's kind of like if we were doing if we wanted to be super strict on nosing
Proper.
stuff or proper, we wouldn't be in a cold garage because cold messes up smell.
You know what? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that I'm not.
No, I'm just saying.
All right.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
So the goal is by next winter that we're gonna have a couple electric heaters out here, and I'll have a better ventilation thing.
Yeah.
It's a new house. I moved in Sunday.
It's a beautiful
Jake,
house.
I'm sorry.
It's a beautiful
Thank you.
house.
We're gonna do it in your apartment next week.
If you guys
All
are
right.
lucky
All
to
right.
be invited
Alicia,
to
I haven't seen her come on, but I'll text her that we're gonna be in your apartment doing this next week.
Can we talk about the pairing before we go too far? There?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
But I did just share the topic time, so let's segue into it. But the pairing with the Elijah Craig, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go on. What do you think?
I thought it was amazing. The reason why is because you have a just all around full body cigar, full body whiskey.
Yeah.
That's blowing up your palate, but then you have, to my sense, creamy, rich, but it's medium body and there's no punch to it. You're getting all the punch from the whiskey, but as soon as you taste the whiskey and then take a puff of the cigar, it mellows and conforms together and it makes a really, really rich taste for those that love putting pepper and salt and all these spices and stuff on
Those are
food.
spices.
I'm saying and spices.
Okay, so
but whatever, garlic and
nutmeg and
all. Yeah, if you like doing that, this is a pairing for you for sure.
I mean, in my opinion, until one more time for the terminology when we go through your nose.
Retrohale.
Retrohaling literally just changed the pairing and actually amplified it even more for me.
That's what he says all the time. I wish I could do it.
Why can't you do it?
I don't know.
Have you tried harder?
Yeah, I have.
No,
I think I have a deviated septum, to be honest.
But honestly, until you literally just said do that, it literally just opened up the cigar even more to me and actually appreciated the pairing. Now, I don't know how it was on your palate, Steve, but did it make it better when you did that or not?
Yeah, it did. It was something where again, the Elijah Craig strong. What I like about the My Father, I already said it, that was the whole like Lefroy 10 thing.
It's already smoky.
This cigar just, this is my quintessential meat, besides the BS Gold, it's my quintessential medium-bodied, full-flavored cigar that when someone asks me, like, hey, we're going to be drinking bourbon tonight, like, what do you think, and all that stuff, and how often you smoke? We smoke frequently, not all the time. It's not, I'm not going to do the occasional, like,
15 times a year.
Yeah, I'm not going to say, like, oh, we smoked once a year, we do this once a year, whatever. But if you actually kind of smoke, you drink bourbon or whiskeys or whatever it is, or scotches or Irish or whatever, this cigar is, in my opinion, quintessential pairing cigar that will not overpower. It's not going to be overpowered.
Complements it.
Yeah, exactly. So, however strong the whiskey is that you're doing, if you have a good steak dinner, you don't necessarily have to go full. Like, so my whole thing is, like, if I go out to a steak dinner, if I do it here at the house, whatever, normally I'll have a whiskey before as I'm grilling, and then I'll have, I'll grill a steak, open a bottle of like Pinot Noir. I like an old line Zinfandel, like a hearty red. Cabernets I like as well. But I'll do that. Then I'll have a whiskey afterwards with a cigar. That's my ideal dinner, right? This is a cigar that will never disappoint, in my opinion. And Elijah Craig Barrel Proof by itself might be overpowering. You smoke a cigar with it, I think it's right there with that Lefroy in a different sense. I'm not saying because it's smoky or anything else. It's not sharing.
Complimenting.
It's absolutely.
You know what's weird with me is
Rebel Yell's not bad either. It's sweeter.
yeah, it's definitely sweeter. It's definitely lighter. I mean, it's only like 40-some% alcohol.
I'm sorry, I haven't even tried it yet. I'm just enjoying Elijah.
No, it's easy drinking though. I think the Rebel Yell was easy drinking, and for like whatever it was, it's under $20. I mean, that's not bad.
100%.
If you put a bigger amount of water in the Elijah Craig, it would actually bring it back down to this type of level.
Yeah, and I like the age on it too because it is a 12-year. We actually had the Rebel Yell 10-year. Remember
That's
how
right.
good that was?
Yeah, it's very
wow, that single barrel was really, really good.
Dustin's putting on this blanket. Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, like I said, the story behind the cigar, even though it's a medium to full body, to me it feels like a light to medium because of how I paired it with the Elijah.
So yeah, flavor wise, up against the barrel proof of Elijah Craig, it lightens it up. But yeah, and when you're done with that, pour a glass of the Rebel Yell.
Yeah, it's definitely
All right.
a big
Cheers.
difference.
So we've lost Dan to the bathroom, and he's definitely doing better than Leo, and he might kill me if I say this.
He's back.
There he is. You good, brother?
Hi, Dan.
He gave us the okay.
How do you feel about the pairing?
Yeah, we were just talking about the pairing.
The pairing. I thought the pairing was good.
Good.
It was smooth. Nothing too spicy from the cigar or the bourbon.
Good. All right, so now we're getting into the subject. And I shared the topic time. So, coming into it, so Bobby was in the shop the other day, and we were talking about moving, because he's moving fucking cross country. I moved across the neighborhood. And, I was in the moving and storage industry for 12 years. And I was a mover at one point, and then I did everything else along the line with that. So, when it comes down to it, my biggest thing, I helped Jake move, 18 months ago?
Yeah.
Not even?
Yeah.
Helped him move. Eric Goldhaber's been on here, and Eric, I've got his truck over at the other place. He's helped me out. So when it comes down, I've actually used that terminology and that metaphor of like the cigar shop culture is as people get older, you lose contact with your close friends, you lose contact with people around you, and who do you call on when you actually...
Ghostbusters.
Right.
What?
I think Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Oh.
When you're going to move and you don't want to hire people, who are you calling on different stages of your life to help you move?
Family.
It's family, if you have family. It's friends, if you have friends that are local. It's also coworkers, I've heard recently. Potentially, because it's all about your social circle. So the cigar shop actually is something where I look at it as something where you have a peer group that is willing to do within their capabilities to help you out. And I love that. I know that, and I appreciate that. And Bobby's one of them. Jake was here. Dan was here. Dustin was working. But it's like you have these people in your life. There are so many people out there listening right now that don't have that. they hire someone because not only do they not want to deal with it, which is
100%.
Absolutely.
If
Like,
you could do that, if you had all
if
the
you have
money
the
in the world,
means and you're moving cross country, I was in the industry. It's like fuck. Like I told my mom and dad, you know, before my dad passed, it was like one of those things where I'm like, I'm not moving you out of this house. Now after my dad passed, family came and purged the house and everything. It's like, all right, now mom, if we need to move you into a condo, you're done with the house, whatever. Like we'll help you. It's still, I don't want to do it. I'll move the big stuff. That's always been my thing. I'll move the big stuff. Like this last Sunday, no problem doing that.
it's almost like you work out.
Setting up to it though, you know, I spent a whole night just purging stuff and putting it in bags. All right, I'm taking this. I'm not taking this. I can donate this or throw it out. That's the stuff I hate. I used to hate pack jobs. When you go into a house and someone pays you because they have the means to pack the house, literally it's like they haven't done anything. They woke up that morning and it's like, yeah, come and pack everything. You walk in, it's like you got 3 kids and you got a 5-bedroom house and I'm packing you. Cool, we'll be here all day. Oh, by the way, you didn't tell us everything you had. We're gonna be packing you tomorrow also.
Yeah.
And it's, all the boxes are included. However, it's $150 an hour. So to pack the house, to pack the house, you're looking at like $2,000 easy.
Yeah.
To pack a basic thing. And then you get into the whole thing of, I can share some moving stories that the worst part was packing. Because you find out the intricacies, and this is the nicest way I could say it for people out there listening, the intricacies of who those people are. Because you're in their closets, you're under their beds, you're in their kitchens.
Long suspenseful pause.
Cheers.
Yes.
It's when you come across.
Is this bringing up bad memories, Steve?
No, actually, it's laughable memories.
I'm interested to see what this is. You okay, Dan? What was that?
Are we getting yak
Was that a
attack?
burp and a cough at the same time?
Are we getting yak attack? It might be captured on camera, so you better be drinking some water.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
You okay? Okay. I'm interested to see
I'll
where
edit
this
that out. I
goes.
can't edit out the live. The packing stories.
No, how this relates to our topic.
So, all right. So feeling overwhelmed, and that's, I think moving is one of those things. So the biggest things in life I learned from being in the moving industry is that the 3 most stressful things in life are death, divorce, and moving. And if you think about that, that's actually a real
DDM.
thing. DDM. Death, divorce, and moving. So when it comes down to it, obviously death is a life-changing thing, divorce is a life-changing thing, and moving is also life-changing, but it's revolving around or it's because of a life-changing event. Typically, you're going to stay put. So if you're going to move, it's because things have gone bad. Dan, if you need to step off, you're good. Just don't go in the new house.
I feel like you should christen it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Just have a seat.
You're good.
So, but what I'm saying is that there are people that are either moving up, they're struggling, they've had a life-changing event, they have to move to another part of the country, whatever it is. There's so much stress involved in that, right?
Yeah.
So that's where this whole thing with feeling overwhelmed, I made a couple of posts recently that was basically, and people reached out to me like, is everything all right? You know what I mean? That's what they're saying, because I was like, feeling overwhelmed but still need to focus type thing. Because that's my mantra, and we've talked about that, and that's my social media mantra. But what I noticed was that people were like, hey, are you all right? Everything. I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's okay. Like, that's a vulnerability thing. Like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Not only am I this whole house thing is happening, and I'm not sure about what's going to happen with it. You know what I mean? It's a whole new level of stress. Then on top of that, like we talked about recently, is the Smoking 10 event was approved. So now I've been put in charge of this entire event up until the point of planning it and getting it executed. And I'm dealing with different contractors in the house.
Oh, it's a pain.
It's just so much. And your day-to-day life, which you normally are accustomed to. You have your day-to-day life then. You know what I mean? So when I like feeling overwhelmed, yet keep moving forward, the whole topic for me is you can have that struggle. You can deal with all of these things. You know what I mean, and all that. But it's really easy to get in that quicksand.
Like you lost all control.
You don't have enough control over it. You lost control. You don't have enough control over it. It's too much for one person.
But what's the quicksand part? Like you become negative because of it?
Can.
Or like
You
what?
give up.
I don't know if you give up. I feel like it's just overwhelming in the sense that, do I just let it happen for when it's going to happen? Am I going to die? Am I just going to go with the flow? What's supposed to happen? I feel like it's how I relate to the question.
I don't think the three people sitting around the table are ever ones to just like say, I'm done and like
All right.
let's control
So
what we can control. You know,
No, I have done that actually.
What I'll say is that so I look around the table and so with Bobby moving across country, Jake, you know, you went through and to your respect, you went through it on this podcast with the jobs and everything else. And
this topic
relationships.
speaks the entire last year of my life.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily that you do give up, but it's one of those things that when I think about this topic, it's something that you have to have a daily reminder. You wake up, you're over. Like I've had this feeling, so I'll explain it from my perspective. I was frustrated because even though, and this is where you rely on other people sometimes. If you take it on yourself, you're not going to be able to handle it necessarily. I'm not saying just rely on other people. I'm not saying give up just to faith. I'm saying combine all of these other things. Rely on yourself. Look around you. Who can you ask for help? Because sometimes things are too much for one person to handle, right? So then sometimes you also will have resentment towards those people that are trying to help because you're like, no, I can fucking do it myself. But that's not always the case.
It's not the right attitude.
You can't always handle everything by yourself because there's not enough time in the day, and you're going to kill yourself doing that.
Right.
It's also
You know, so-
vulnerability. Do you feel vulnerable by
There's a
acting?
vulnerability, so you want to be there. You want to be everywhere at one time.
Or scapegoats.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you just can't do everything on your own. So when I'm going through what I've been going through, I feel very, very fortunate. I'm very excited about everything, but I was feeling overwhelmed. And that's why I brought this topic up, because I want to bring something that's when I think about Jake, he had this thing, feeling overwhelmed and moving forward, because it's something that there were times that you and I had a conversation where you were feeling overwhelmed and you were just, you gave the whole hopeless thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying. That's where this topic comes from, is that you're feeling hopeless, but you have to keep moving forward. Time's not stopping. You're not going to give up and just stay in bed all day, because then it gets worse.
Well, sometimes you need that mental break for one day.
Sometimes if you can afford that.
But here's the thing: there's a break. There's a break before. Am I going to go insane doing this, or do I actually look at my health and regather myself for that day? Because you can't go 150% all the time when it comes overwhelming. You're going to break at one point.
I love what you're saying.
Go ahead.
I love what you're saying because of the simple fact that you do need a break, and the fact that it's kind of like my situation, like at my new job right now, where you know my manager is constantly, he's like squirrel, right? And but my job has a lot of different aspects to it, where you're dealing with like families, you're a family advisor, you're dealing with burials, you're trying to have sales, you're trying to do all this and that, and then your manager's telling you like, well, you need to do this, this, and this, right? And it's like, well, and then also on the fact that I've only been there a month, so like I haven't done all my training right. So in my mind, whenever I wasn't mad, but I was very direct and stern with my
That's how you process it, though.
well, right. So I'm getting exactly to that. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's how you process it.
Because in my mind, to my manager, like he was, you know, I was doing something. I was trying to make sure that the files and the paperwork was done. He's like, well, hey, Jake, come here. Like, I need to. I'm like, hold on. Like, I need to. You want me to do this? This is my job. You've set these guidelines.
Correct.
So let me do them. And then we come to that. I think a lot of people, when they feel overwhelmed, and that's one thing that this new job has taught me, right? Because I used to be like that, where I would get completely overwhelmed, and I would think of every scenario.
Defensive.
Well, yeah, and I am a defensive guy.
But it's not a bad thing.
But I think in my head, where if I think about everything all at once, then nothing will ever get done because I'm just festering in everything that I need to get done.
Yeah.
If I can compartmentalize situations and like basically in my head bullet point out like what I need to do and then take it step by step, I am so much clear-headed and no one can screw that up. And I don't think that enough people do that, and especially when they have outside forces forcing them to think of other things. And it's like, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. Hey, if we just take a second and say, hold on, stop, just stop thinking about like what I need to do. Like I know what I need to do, and say to the people that are like wanting to give you advice and wanting to give you like steps and keep you in track. It's like, hold on, even if it's a boss, hold on for a second. I need to do my job. You need to trust me to do my job. And we'll get this done. And then as soon as I'm done, and I'll get it done as soon as I can, then we go to the next step and the next step into my job or the next step in what I'm supposed
But as
to
a
do.
new guy, you can't do that all the time.
It's a double-edged sword. So
Well,
basically,
because you have other factors. They have other factors. They have their other objectives. They have their other KPIs, key performance indicators. If you want to bring it in the business world,
KPI.
yeah, it's something that the millennials came up with. No, I'm saying like, fuck it. I'm not trying to start that. I was just.
No, I just wanted to have a little. We need to have.
Where's Ray at?
Yeah, he was on. Yeah, he's enjoying his retirement, that fucker. Anyways,
You get what I'm saying though?
no, I do. What I'm saying is that the reason that sometimes you feel overwhelmed is that, in my opinion, like you have your your stance as far as all that goes, but you can't like
Let go.
we can't block out what their stance is. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a war at that point. You're on the same team, so it's.
But I don't look at it that way.
But that's how they.
Is that what I'm portraying?
No, it can be.
I'm not
just-
saying you're portraying that, and Bob, go ahead. Yeah.
No,
chime in.
I'm sorry
I feel
for
like we
talking
dived in.
over. It's so here's. I feel overwhelmed every day before this move. I feel overwhelmed from last year. I feel overwhelmed from being married, changing venues. Everybody feels overwhelmed. The thing is, your feelings, unless you're able to communicate that overwhelmed feelings, and it's different. It's you got your work job, you got your family, you got your wife or your girlfriend, your significant other. And it's like, not every time they're going to be on the same page. So KPIs for key performance. You're performing for your company. So they're expecting a certain thing
That's
from
an
you.
agreed upon thing.
And agreed.
It should be. There's
for
faulty companies. If you're running on all fucking pistons, it's very, very clear.
Correct.
And it's very, very simply laid out.
And you have to earn that trust or earn that brand your life when you come into the cigar shop, you already know what your key performance are and you know what your expectations are. For a new job starting out, you gotta relate to that leadership and how they actually brand too. So when you're being defensive and trying to be like, calm down, like I need you to calm down, I know what I need to do, they might not be able to relate to you. And it comes off defensive and then they process it differently, which makes you even more overwhelmed. So you're not looking at it from their angle, you're still looking at it from your angle. I do it all the time, it's one of my biggest key faults. And I can admit
What's that? Say it out loud.
It's my biggest key fault is I'm always looking at it from my perspective. I'm already gonna know what you're going to say.
But you don't. But you think you do.
I think I do.
Yeah.
And even if they do say exactly what I think they're gonna say, I took every part of respect or any part of them from them and I belittled them. And they're gonna have a different perspective on how do you really appreciate working here? Do you really understand my point of view? Because it turns into turmoil. So you're overwhelmed by that, they're overwhelmed by you, and it just can turn to disaster.
Talk to me about that real quick.
I'm sorry. Does that
No,
make
talk to
sense?
me about that because it's one of those things that I look at it when you're saying that. You've been there for a while.
I've always been there.
Right.
It's all I want that control.
No, you've been there at that company.
Well, I mean, it could be Verizon. It could be.
Sometimes it's about control, but when you actually have that successful relationship, in what I think I'm of the opinion that people that are truly admirable in that kind of environment, when you look at them, it is one thing that it's like you might think it's intangible. Like there's something about them. It's the listening part. It's the fact that they are confident in what you just said. You're confident in the fact that you presume what they're going to say, you presume all that stuff, but it's you let them say it. And then you actually take it in that's that communication side.
That's leadership.
Well, it's leadership. Yes, I'm alluding to more. It's you are in your mind right, and you know what's going to happen.
Okay.
But you are also open for more. You're educating. You're open for more feedback. You're open for more stimulation. You can't shut yourself off. So what you just said, you shut yourself off.
I did.
So that's where that's the shortcoming, in my opinion.
100%.
It's not the fact that you what you said. I mean, you're absolutely right. But I think when you actually really dive deep into that, is the shortcoming is that you shut off the external. You shut off the incoming feedback, the incoming signal. It's like, you know what? And you still might be right. You still might be a step ahead, but it's the fact that the effective communication is that it's no longer about winning or saying that you're about, like, I know what I'm talking about. You're actually saying, I know what I'm talking about. I feel confident in myself, but I'm going to at least listen to you. But you don't vocalize that. You there's a tact there. That I always go back to that whole the disc personality thing. If you're always firing, you're always going, you're always really not just on yourself. It's not just a personal drive. It's actually the fact that your personal drive is still open to the different, like, so the four of us, there's some similarities between the four of us, but there's also a lot of differences. So the way this conversation works is that it's not about winning this. No one's debating here. It's literally about, like, what I did with you, in my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm saying I listened to what you said, but the only thing I would tweak to that, if it was just you and me sitting over drinks, a cigar in this garage or wherever else, I'd say, Bobby, you're killing it. You're absolutely right. All I'll say to you, tweak it just a little bit. Feel that confidence. Feel that you know what you're doing, but when there's another person involved, there's several people on the team, stay true to what you feel, but at the same time, let them say something, because you don't know if there's three other people around the table, that something that they say might actually not get a chink of your armor. It's not about winning. It's just like, fuck, I didn't think, like, that's a great point. Now I'm going to build off of what I already feel, and I'm going to go forward with it.
And that's why I said leadership, because
there's a leadership aspect.
And that's why I went to that thing. It's just, and I'm not trying to pick on you. I guess how I'm impersonating it for me is, me personally, it's a constant struggle, because I do the best I can for every single person, my wife, my friends. Right. I will literally give you the shirt off my back. I will literally make anything else first, and I always forget about myself and train true to myself, and then I let that pollute.
But see, that's cliche.
It is cliche.
That's something that, like, by doing that is for yourself, not selfishly. But that's something that you're doing because that's what you deem important.
I feel good.
You deem that important.
Correct. But there's a point that you have to have that self-reflection and be able to grow from that. Just because I might know the answer or I'm very outspoken, I'm not delivering that message right. And that's my worst flaw, because I need to be able to communicate right without just shutting people out.
Yeah, but I get that. Like, I understand what all you guys are saying, but, like, and this is where I sat back here and listened to, like,
I'm
both
sorry.
of you
No,
guys.
No,
It's not.
I was waiting. Yeah, go on.
And that's what I think people can appreciate about. That's what I appreciate about myself. And Steve just said it. Like, people don't listen, and we've talked about.
You've said that before. And
yeah,
I agree with you.
Like, people don't listen, especially when emotion is involved. And it's just like the example that I was saying the other day, where it's like, no, I'm trying to get something done. You want me to get this done, so when you interrupt, I'm literally, like, walking downstairs from the office, and it's like, hey, can you come here for a second? And it's like, I just give me a second, right? Like, can I please do this before I forget it and then fuck something up, and then you're mad at me even more? You know what I mean? And I think that, for me, if I can compartmentalize, it's not that I forget about it, but it's in the last year or so, I've really, really, really learned about, like, the priority of things. and it's not. You can say about like personal life, but in this moment, I'm talking about job. And when in your job, if there's something that needs to be handled like right now, like it's like for instance, if I have a burial that's in 2 days, I need to get the family in. I need to get them to sign that paper, and that shit needs to be done by today.
Correct.
Because the groundsmen need to know that the burial needs dug. You need the vault company to come in. You need like it's a lot of moving parts. It's just like with Steve moving into this new house. It's like before that happens, it's like you got to talk to the bank. You got to talk to the original owners. You got to talk to the realtor. You have to talk to the people that are doing the work on the inside of the house, the inspections, everything.
And I'm not here. That's my biggest frustration is that I'm not able to take that time off, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm relying on other people, which I don't want to say I hate, but it's part of the process. It's the humility side of it.
Well, I saw you last week when we stayed after the podcast and we were talking about some things, and we both had like probably more than what we should have, but it's we vent to each other, and that's what it's about. And I saw Steve say, sometimes you just can't like rely on fucking anybody, and it's like, well,
sometimes you can.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I understand that, and but if you need me, I'll be here. Like I got to fix my car on Sunday, like that's my priority because I can't get anywhere. But I'll be here as soon as I can.
But I got to tell you though, there were plenty of people that were in my situation, and it did not come across this way to me because I knew what you're going through. But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong that I helped you move into your place.
Yeah.
And then when I say, hey man, like I reach out to everyone like, hey, this Sunday I gotta move into my new place, and you text back you're like, all right, well I got something going on at noon, so I'll be there. So if you're still moving, I'll help you out.
But that comes off. You don't like that response.
But I'm like, that's where I think the development is, and my personal side of it. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying like, all right, like. I had the same thing with my roommate Connor. It was like one of those things I had plans with him, and now it's just it didn't work out. So now I rely on. I still need to take care of myself. It's not about not like I didn't think that I couldn't rely on you. It's like you have other things going on. Like everyone's. That's my whole point. Like what I was saying to Bobby, it was like there are other people involved. So now it's like you have to take it in, like take the intake. It's not all about just putting it out there. Like hey, I helped you move. Now you need to help me move. It's not keeping tally. And Jake and I have had that conversation several times before, recently about like keeping tally about like how we treat each other just in general, like conversations like what you're talking about. But when it came down to it, I still need to. It's not that fact that I can't rely on people. I can't rely on Jake. It's the fact that when I was feeling overwhelmed, I had to keep like that. All right. So there's the whole thing. Not. It wasn't because of you, but it was that whole thing. It's like I have people around me that are wanting to help and some that can't because of outside circumstances. You can either just close off to those people like fuck that, like I helped them move or I helped them do this or I gave them money when they needed it. Now I need money. They can't give me money. They can't help me move. They can't help me with this, whatever. So I'm gonna like close off. You have to stay open. You have to be an intake. You have to do that constantly because if all you do is bottle it up or if you just buckle down, quotes, air quotes, if you can't, on audio, you can't see me, air quotes. You have to buckle down and just be like, fuck it, I can't rely on anyone else, I gotta do it myself. You are selling yourself short and you're not going to actually accomplish what you want. You have to take care of it, absolutely. If you can't rely on anyone around you, you got to find a new circle of friends.
But if you
that's not what that was about.
I know, but if you can't voice that like to your friends and like what are they for? You know what I mean?
No,
like,
absolutely.
That's my point. Like when you did that, I was like, okay, yeah.
No. I didn't do that. I didn't say
on the contrary. No, you
I didn't
said
say like fuck you, like you can't.
I'm not saying
no. You said like you can't rely on anybody. Like I'll just do. You literally said that last week, like after the podcast, and it wasn't that I took it on the contrary, where
most
I'm like,
people will.
where I was like, yeah, like I'll be there as soon as I can, man. Like I know that you trust me.
Well, and it was something.
And I know that you're venting that. I know that you can trust me. I can trust you, and I'll be there as soon as I possibly can. But my outside forces call for this matter. But it's also about the fact that people need to like vent that.
100%.
Because if you don't, then it does get bottled up.
That's going back to the communication side of it, right?
It does get bottled up, and then you're freaking out.
So the real question comes down to...
Or you sour a relationship that didn't need to be soured.
And nothing get accomplished.
It can't happen
Now you're pissed off, and you also lost something that's really important to you.
But also nothing's getting accomplished.
That's what I'm saying. You lost out, yeah, absolutely.
But the real question comes down to who can you vent to that is actually there for you to actually release that anger.
So I'll bring that into the topic. Like, that's one of those things. Like, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're trying to move forward and you don't want to get in that quicksand, that's what I'm saying is that that's a very important step. You guys are both really hitting it.
You have to vent.
You have to tell someone. You have to tell someone. I fucking laid into my mom this week.
My mom literally just called me today.
Dorothy Crane's the same.
I love my mom. My mom is like, literally, she has more friends than me because I feel like half my friends, honestly,
Come on.
love me because they love my mom.
I don't know your mom.
Regardless, like
I would though.
My mom is like the most. If I didn't have my mom to like in my life and to be able to teach me certain things, like she literally is. I don't know how she deals with everything. First off, love.
Mom's a mom, right?
Mom's
so
a mom.
If you told
I just
me,
want to give respect to moms.
absolutely, but it's so funny because what you hear, like so going around the table, like no one's over 40, but you know what I mean. It's one of those things. If you have a mom still with you that still has that role in your life, right?
Correct.
I will say to my mom, like, hey, I'm going to the Kroger. I got the podcast tonight. Be safe and make sure all the guys and girls that are coming over, like whoever's coming over, make sure they're safe going home. And I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
the natural reaction as you become an adult is like, yeah, no, I got it. A mom's going to be a mom is going to be a mom. And you should feel fortunate that you have that support system.
Blessed. I'm very blessed.
I am too.
And I think everybody's blessed in that
Yeah,
sense.
we all are around the table.
100%.
Absolutely.
I feel like, and not taking away from dads, like my dad's always been there.
No, I'm not saying that.
I know, but I just want to make sure.
Parent is a parent is a parent.
Correct.
Let's say
Whoever
that.
you relate to whoever raised you, mom, dad, two moms, two dads, it doesn't fucking matter. They
all right, 2019.
I mean, but
I'm just kidding.
But it's
that's
that's
shock
your
value
core
right there.
values.
I agree with you completely.
And so for me, like on my way, no,
It's like,
but for me, like you want to know what my number one concern was before coming to this podcast after
Go
work?
on.
I literally went to Best Buy because I've been dealing with they lost my triple wall oven, a Thermidor. Like this is first world problem, guys.
What the fuck is that?
It's a fucking elite brand oven that you don't need in your life.
For what? The house you're selling?
The house that I'm maybe renting.
All right.
And for me, it's like I've been working at this Best Buy for the last 3 months to get this fucking resolved. And all I did was after talking to the GM at the fucking Best Buy, I called my mom on my way home just so I could shower, get to the podcast on time, and I'm just venting and yelling and like literally just letting it out. And my mom's there like, well, maybe you don't need to do that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm just cutting her off. And like, when I reflect back on that, I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I acting like this? Being overwhelmed by an oven before I move to
Right.
Dallas. I mean, I'm being serious.
I can absolutely relate to this.
It's just like.
I had to tell my mom I was not upset with her.
But my mom was there like, just do what you want. Just be happy. You're moving. You and your wife have a great opportunity. I'm like, and I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about, I need to have this done. I'm going to be gone in a week.
You said earlier if you were watching the video,
It's a hand in the face.
yeah, your fucking hands
It
in your
is.
face, and you're like, fucking what? Triple what?
What? It's
fuck
fucking
is this?
ridiculous. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Triple what?
I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
what the fuck?
I know.
How many things are you cooking at once?
It doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I agree. But
It-
I
it
just wanna
doesn't
know.
fucking matter.
I'm curious. I gotta look this shit up.
It's
I don't know what it is.
It's literally an elite brand because I love getting a deal. My name's fucking Bobby Crow. I love getting a deal. I'm the best at it. I swear to it. And the fact of the matter
He
is,
was trying to like talk to my
No.
homeowners association before the podcast.
no,
I'm like,
because I know how
got
to
it,
get.
man.
I know. I literally know how to talk to people to get what you need to
He's
get
like the
done.
dad on A Christmas Story.
It is. I'm fucking.
He is.
This is a great
I
blue
will-
spruce.
I will.
Clink,
I
clink.
will wear them down before I get worn down.
100%. And
I win.
I will win.
What's this game we're playing?
It
I
doesn't
win.
fucking matter.
Yeah.
Fucking little kid on Big
Dumb
Daddy.
salesman.
It
It's
is.
bullshit.
I win.
He gets all the easy words.
But for me, it's about that deal. It's about that. It's making sure that my friends, my family get the best things for that.
It's not even about the oven. It's about you like fixing a fix.
About winning.
It's about hashtag winning Charles Sheen. Fuck it all day. It's literally. But for me, it's like
No.
I know.
You just ruined everything you just said.
No, but for me,
hashtag Charlie Sheen.
I know, but it doesn't fucking matter. The thing that matters is I put my hand in the face, and that causes my overwhelming. And my mom
you gotta move it out. You gotta move it out.
My mom's like, enjoy your fucking time. Like, if I didn't have the podcast today, and I thank you for having me on again. Honestly,
it's great having you.
It's one of my favorite times of the year. I can say year because it's a year. And you get back to you guys haven't. It's enjoying those simple things and getting yourself back to who you are, to go back home to your significant other, to go back home and be able to talk.
It's an outlet. It's an outlet. Yeah.
It brings out that.
Yeah, but I'm going to play Steve for a second.
That's fine.
And say,
Calm down now.
no, it's the more I spend time
Before
with
you
this
say
dude,
that, disclaimer for those of you who listen to the fine print, I did not approve or decline this message. Go on.
the more that I spend with this dude, the more I start thinking like him.
Fuck. Again, I did not approve this message.
Yeah. So like when you say shit like that, like when someone says like,
Just need to
when something's going wrong,
scrolling across the bottom as
Yeah.
he talks.
like when something's going wrong or whatever, it's like
We should add that.
you can't just say like it'll be fine.
But it won't. But here's the thing.
Goddamn right. I do approve this message.
But here's
They
the
did
thing.
this shit with me forever when I was like
That's devil's
starting
advocate.
to- I love playing devil's advocate
And I do
because
too.
both sides need to be said on
It
this
does.
podcast.
And hence, viewers for my comments, it's me replying real time to play devil's advocate.
Go on.
I approve this message, Robert Crow.
Is it going to be?
You can't approve your own message.
Is it going to be
It
like
doesn't matter.
15 messages in a row that are like sporadic?
Stop commenting.
You can't
Right,
get like
if you're on the audio, you're not going to hear from Bobby Crow because he's now on the podcast feed.
you can't get like a full fucking thought out. It's like da 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 da, and then it's like that for 15 fucking.
But I
times.
have a wife. And you know what? Holly.
What does that have to do
No.
with 15 comments in a row?
Oh, fuck that. I'm skipping past it, obviously.
He does not approve that message.
Obviously. No, but like, no, I have a wife in the sense
Holly's
that
a saint, by the way.
she is. I don't know how she deals with me.
We all wonder.
Yes.
And your dog.
And my dog loves me. I train that dog.
Dog.
That's a shame.
Jesus.
What?
Why don't you get on the feed?
Shit.
Oh, I'm about
Shots
to.
fired.
I'm about to start asking stupid questions.
So,
Calm down.
no, but the
These
reality
people
is,
are
I don't give
babies.
credit to my own wife sometimes because she's a boss. She had a life before me. So
Right, right.
So when you're feeling overwhelmed, let's play devil advocate for you. Do
Oh,
you
I can't
overshadow?
wait.
Do you overshadow
Let's not
your
put
girlfriend?
the gloves on here, boys.
Like putting
Judiciary
like like venting.
Not inventing. Do you not give enough credit to your girlfriend to be able to handle a situation? We've all done it. You're telling me, I know I've done it. I know you've done it. I know.
I'll tell you what. I'll chime in here. Liz and I have been dating long enough.
You don't want. I want to hear.
Liz and I have been dating. I'll give my 2 cents on this to frame it. Liz and I have now been dating long enough that, and with this whole project of the house, it's very, very positive. It's fun and games, but at the same time, it's real life. The last probably 2 weeks of moving in and all this stuff, we've had more honest arguments about nothing that I know that it's not the fact that I didn't give them credit like you're talking about, right?
It's different. I feel like it's a different.
I'm not as like there's not as much time there, but now we're getting into that moment where when I was feeling overwhelmed, all she said was, I'm trying to make you happy. And it's like, then when she says that, it's like, you are, this is out of your control. I'm not, I'm looking at you as a sounding board, and I'm going to be upset sometimes. It's not the honeymoon. Like, the honeymoon phase is fine. When you know you're still in the honeymoon phase, or if you can actually live through the honeymoon phase, is when you can have the blow-ups, or you can have that part where it's like, I'm not in the mood. I don't want to talk about it. I worked all day. I fucking had this happen. Now it's like, fucking nothing seems like it's happening the way I want it to,
not
and I feel helpless because I'm with this house thing. That's where this topic came from. I'm overwhelmed because I'm trying to do all that. I'm trying to do the smoking tent event. I can't control the other event that's happening the same night. I can't control the fire marshal. I can't control the contractors when I'm not there, and I'm relying on my mom and Liz to be there, and I'm relying on the realtor that actually is running these things. Everything, and when you say it out loud slower,
It's like, what problem do you
I
have?
am so fortunate that I have all these things, but when I'm in the moment, I come home or we're talking and all that stuff, and I don't blow up on her. I don't think I've ever been angry with her. It's just the fact that we see things differently from different perspectives. So now it's like my perspective is what I'm dealing with the last 12 hours. So it's like when you actually are coming at me and trying to cheer me up, I'm like, I don't want to be fucking cheered up right now. I just like, this is my day. Yeah, hand in your face and all that stuff. But it's about riding through that. Go ahead.
What was your question again?
So my question is like, and 100% correct, Steve. So my question really comes into is...
It's not correct or wrong. It's just, I feel fortunate that I'm in that moment.
Correct. It turned into like a self realization that you have that. My real question really is though is when you're in a relationship or with your family, like no offense to Liz, right? It's more or less like you've been in
Defend her all you want.
No, I've never actually.
Liz, you listening?
But the thing is I've been with Holly now for 5 years.
Yeah.
You've been
Really?
5 years.
It's 5 years. All right. I got married to her last August.
How long did you date before you got married?
4 years. 4.5.
So you've been together for 9.
No. I mean like
5 years total.
5 years total.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
That's great. That's
So-
great. Cheers to you.
Thank you. Cheers to you. But you start realizing that when you're overwhelmed
Yeah.
in a long-term relationship or with family that's been there all your life,
Yeah.
my question is, when have you said to me, it's like, Holly's a fucking boss. Like, she really is. I don't give her enough credit to handle a situation. Have you done that with yours?
Never. I really haven't.
Then I mean,
And that's not whether I'm saying
No,
like,
and it's not
I'm
bad.
wrong or I'm right, you're right, or you're
No, it's
wrong. It's just I'm very. Alicia and I's relationship, we've actually gotten in arguments because it's actually the opposite, where it's whether she doesn't think I can do this or whatever,
okay.
and I take it a certain way, where it's like, just can you leave me alone? Because and I take it. Our viewers and listeners know me by now, where I take it to a deeper level, because that's the way I think. It's like, so I always keep asking why. Like, why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? Why? Until you dive down. It was exactly what Grant was doing last week, to get down to the core of what it's going to. And for me, when she does that to me, I get down to it. Is it like a trust thing? Like, am I not like reliable? Or, and it's not like to start an argument. It's just I'm trying to understand either what I need to work on in your eyes, because it is a relationship, and your opinions matter to me. So it's, and I'm under the observation that I have my opinions, but if we're talking about you, it's about you. If we're talking about me, it's about me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's exactly.
That's how you level it out.
That's how I compartmentalize it.
That's how.
And I'm not a simple person at all, but I've noticed that, like in the last year or so, I've really tried to be a more simple human being, where I take steps, I take tasks as they are, and I work towards the task. And if something else comes to a head, it's like, I know this isn't always the case in life, where you can just side put a task or something that needs your attention, like right now when you're already doing something, how you can just like sidestep it. I know that doesn't always exist, but in my mind and in my reality as of now, that's how I work through my life. And in the case of Alicia and I,
like, I'm not trying to call out any.
No. I love, and I know like she's listening. So, but in my eyes, when she says, she's going to do something or we talk about something, there's not a doubt in my mind. I let it go and say, babe, I love you, you're good. Like, I don't need to over-foresee anything because I know you got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess for me, and that's great, that's a healthy relationship. For me, sometimes when I feel overwhelmed personally,
All right.
I feel.
Let's get into that, please.
When I feel overwhelmed personally, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. No, I'm saying, like, let's get into that. Like, that's what we're talking about.
When you're overwhelmed, for me personally, I literally.
How do you keep moving forward?
I want all the control. I don't put faith in others.
Not a good team player there.
I'm not. I 100% am not because I.
All right, Kettle.
For me, it's like I need to get my kitchen done. I need to get the house done for my wife to be able to get everything moved over to Dallas. I'm gone in 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
We've already went through a remodel. We just went through a marriage. We went through my house being broken into. I've been overwhelmed for like.
The house is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you, but I haven't had a chance. Like when we even talk about like last year, right, for being overwhelmed. And when we talked about earlier when we said you have to take time for yourself. I literally have to take FMLA, family medical leave, for me personally for 30 days.
To get this stuff done.
Not even get stuff done, to ground myself.
Yeah. Do you get overwhelmed because you have all these tasks in your head and you think of all of them? Is it like squirrel? Is it like
I have ADHD.
Is it like I'm doing something that
Jingling keys?
Yeah, I mean honestly.
So
what was that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's for me.
Is that what it is?
I love it.
I mean, I do have.
Thanks,
Dan.
And Dan's
Thank
back.
you.
Dan's back.
Hi.
There he is.
For me personally, I do have ADHD. I do take Vyvanse every single day.
Well, you told me about that. Actually, like that's part of the whole.
That's
fucking,
the 15 messages.
Well,
some days I don't.
I told you about that because Bobby told me. About
I told you.
Vyvanse is like the shit right now.
For me, like if I'm not on my ADHD medication, or if I'm not helping me sleep at night, and for ADHD people who ever have that type of medication,
Get it out there. Talk to the camera.
it's more or less that when you know you have ADHD,
Stop.
and when you're on that medication 24/7, you need a break from it because you can't be codependent.
How often do you take a break from it though?
On the weekends I try, or some days during the week.
Wednesdays?
Every other day.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Exactly.
That's fine. That's fine. No.
No,
But
I
I
mean-
get it. Like you don't want to be dependent on it. You want to be able to. That's one of those things where you
When
feel
you know
like you're
yourself.
dependent. Like, well,
Medication wise,
medication wise, we can get into that,
but that can also affect being.
I'll actually, when you're done talking about that, because I don't want to like interrupt with that, but that's something we talked about, like from the hormone level and things that I do, that has helped me with the overwhelming part of it.
Correct. There's keys for ADHD for me personally. Like if I take my medication every day at 7 a.m. If it's at 7 a.m. by 8 or 9, I can take a sleeping pill, sleep, and be right. Not every fucking day when you wake up, you're gonna take your medication right on time.
Yeah.
I have it in my truck. I might take it on my way to work. I might have to go on my break and take
So are
it.
you on second shift?
No, I'm first morning. Squirrel.
So you take a sleeping pill in the morning?
No, I take my Adderall, like my Vyvanse in the morning.
Yeah.
I take a sleeping pill at night so I can actually...
Okay. I thought you said AM.
So when I'm actually taking my sleeping pill and then waking up, if I don't remember to take my Adderall,
Right.
it can affect how my day goes.
Yeah. Are you groggy or are you just...
I mean, separate of... It could be grogginess. It could be that I've taken it and I have 20 other things on my plate, which also affects the medication. Stress.
It's like two massive ends of the spectrum.
100%. Like if I didn't take my medication, like I have no filter. I say whatever's on my fucking mind. You've seen it on the podcast.
Well,
To a point.
it's part of you though.
But it is me. To a point.
That's all. You can't put it all in that.
I'm not saying to put it all in that. I mean, I'm still a very open individual. I'm still very honest about stuff.
You're awkwardly open sometimes.
How so? If you don't mind me asking.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's like what you're talking about, like the podcast feed. I think it's broadcasted where you are not trying. You are openly open. And that type of comments, the type of comments that you actually do on the podcast make some people like think, I don't know how I can say that. It's not the awkward, like it's just awkward. It's just like, man, he's just fucking swinging for the fences. You know what I mean? Like that makes people feel uncomfortable.
It can.
That's all I'm saying. It's not
natural.
You're still you.
Yes.
So I'm saying this right now because whether you're on Adderall or Vyvanse or whatever it is, you know what I mean, right? Whether you're on that or you've been diagnosed with ADHD, if you've had this, you're still you.
100%.
It doesn't just, if you're being dulled down to the point where you're not you, you're fucked. You're like, yeah. Like you need a new medication, you need a new doctor. You can't do all that stuff. But when you're actually like dealing with the life situations and you're being medicated, which I'm not against, I'm not
100%.
for. But if you're going through all this, as you go through your Texas move, stay on the medications. Well, I'm saying this because either find a new doctor or trust the blood test, trust what you actually went through. That this is something that might benefit you. Whether or not you believe in Western medicine and whatever it is, if you're doing like herbal botanical things, whatever it is, if you feel good, the big thing is that where people actually miss on that, in my opinion, is that you're feeling better, now you stop taking whatever you take. Whether it's supplements, whether it's medication, whatever it is.
If it's working out in the morning.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to take it. Like they said, 2 pills a day. I feel good by noon. I'm not going to take my afternoon pill. That's not what we're dealing with here.
It's for with Adderall, I guess I'm putting too much shift onto it. For Adderall, it helps me stay focused on the task at hand.
Right.
Because I'm always overanalyzing.
Jittery.
I'm always overanalyzing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can play into, regardless of being on medication or not, that plays into being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I could take away from that person or from myself without doing that self-reflection with the hand in my face.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, I need to be able to take a step back. Hence when I took 30 days off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of the Adderall or the sleeping pills or whatever it is. It was because I just went through a marriage. My house is being remodeled. My house was broken into. It turned into...
You took a lot on.
It was too much. It doesn't... For anybody who's functional, it's too much.
So what happens when, like, you have these tasks, and I'm sure that you and your wife had talked about the tasks at hand. So what happens in the situation where you said you want the control of it? Is it because you know that it will get done, sort of thing, if you have control over it, or what's the reasoning?
I guess for me, it's like I don't want my...
I want you to answer that question after he does.
For what?
What you just asked.
Yeah, about what though?
And in general.
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
For me...
That's a great question.
It's a great question for anybody.
You have good feedback too.
For me, I believe 9 times out of 10, depending what the task is at hand, I'm going to do it better than anybody else.
Okay.
And so... And
Why?
also...
Why? I'll be the 5-year-old in the room.
That's
Why? As I pour a whiskey. 5-year-old in the room. Why? Go on.
Because I have a set...
Why are you the best person in the room?
Because you have an idea set in motion.
I already have an ideal set listed out in my head.
I get
what
it.
needs to be done.
I get it.
Are you staying open, or what we talked about earlier? Are you staying open to other people's feedback, or are you just you're it?
I mean,
Answer it honestly.
I wouldn't have been able to get the position I just got in Dallas, Texas, if I wasn't open about understanding feedback.
There you go.
All right, so I know with dealing with a customer, with my current job, or a business account, I am better than any other rep in that fucking office. I am.
Yeah.
100%. I understand what the customer wants.
Yep.
I understand what they want to get to. I know where they are at. I can read through it and be like, yep, no problem.
Why do you feel like that?
Because I can relate to them.
Okay.
Because I've gone through it.
Are you right, or you can relate to them?
Right and relate, depending on the situation. I've been through...
And I'll argue, if I could, I'm not
No,
get
you're
into
fine.
it.
You're fine.
I think you can relate to them. That's more important.
I think I'm so adaptable.
You're not right. What I'm saying is that you're less right, even though you may be, but you can relate to that person that you're talking to.
You're right for relating.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Great way to say it.
I can
Absolutely.
feel the frustration on a phone call. I can feel the frustration when I have a conversation with you, Jake, or with Steve.
You know people.
I feel like one of my... And
I
I think
left
that's
2 voicemails the last 2 days about a road hazard warranty that I was told was for 5 years, and when I went into the dealer this week, they checked in on it. They're like, no, all the records show 3 years. And I was like, well, the guy told me it's 5 years. And then I was like, go in my glove compartment. Everything's filled out other than 3, 4, 5 years. There's no, it's all dot matrix, right? So it's like this triplicate.
Oh my god.
There's nothing there, right? So talk to me about that, right? You know what I mean? Like this is how we do it. So I'm not. It was about a paintless dent removal that I was sold on. I was like, it's part of it. Great, like we'll do it. I works in my monthly payment. Took a 6-year note on a car. I don't put many miles on a car, so I took a 6-year note, 5-year. You know what I mean? Like this is, in my opinion, this is relative.
Don't get me started on freaking finance guys
calm
at
down,
car.
No, my point is the guy's probably not even working there anymore. But so I've left. So
accountability.
So
He's a dumbass.
I was told, because I want to keep my payment to this, he's like, if we add $8 a month for the next 6 years, we can cover this and we'll do this. Great. I've capitalized on that in the last 3 years, right? I'm 3 years into the loan a week ago. And I actually held off. I paid for, with my insurance, I paid for a new front fender because it was fucking destroyed from some asshole. I got it repaired and replaced, and then I got a door ding on the same fender about like 2 months later. I was like, fuck, I'll take care of it. I got time, right? So then all of a sudden I go into the dealer. He checks it up. He's like, hey, it's not covered anymore. They say you have 3 years. And I was like, well, go in the glove box. There's the paperwork there. He looks into it, calls the dealership, and Mentor Nissan sold me a Cadillac they hadn't used, right?
Yes.
So if anyone from Mentor, Ohio is listening to this, it's one of those things where I was told from the F&I guy that, no, we'll get that in 5 years, no problem. I got the paperwork. I'm like, that's weird that it didn't check it off. It's all printed on. Everything else. The only thing left blank is 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. I'll deal with that. You know, everything's taken care of. I'm all right. Paid almost $700.
Fix it.
I've left 3 messages in the last 2 days.
You know what I would do?
My point is that my guy at the Cadillac dealer here, I was like, just take care of it, $75, take care of it. I'm still trying to say, hey man, like, you guys fucked up, and I'll show you the blank paper of where you did not check it off.
Correct.
You fucked up.
Yeah.
I was told one thing. I don't know. It bothers me when people don't, like, they're not truthful.
Accountability.
Yeah,
It's
because
all
all the computer systems say you had a 3-year warranty. I was like, that's cool and all. I was told another thing. And if I had a paperwork that said 3-year, I'm like, I'm fucked. Like, yeah, I was an idiot. No,
it doesn't.
You didn't do it.
So is it them not being like relatable to you, or them just like
They're not understanding. They're just trying to go like black
He
and
made
white.
a sale and he left something blank.
Right.
So the accountability goes back to the dealership. So if it was me,
He's hoping that I will be, at the worst case scenario, I will push this and he's no longer there.
for whatever reason.
Whatever reason. Or if he's still there, fuck, I hope he's still there. And I'm like, dude, you didn't do this.
At the end of the day,
But he's not returning my calls, nor is the other lady.
Right. What I'm just trying to
Go on.
tie it in together. Like, what were you talking about, Bobby? Because like, what?
Accountability, I got tied in. That's why
I was really trying to figure out.
That's why I picked the whole subjects, because when it comes down to
accountability,
feeling overwhelmed,
everything is all part of
Did you
Me
say
too.
all the subjects?
No, not. Jesus Christ.
See, all right, like
You want to get?
Ooh, Dan!
yeah,
Dan!
All right, you know what?
Welcome back, buddy.
I want to give you 50 more seconds. The reason I say that, I'm not saying all the subjects. I'm saying that I you're of the whiskeys, I'm of the cigars, and there's a lot of times, if not the majority of the times, that I pick the subjects. Is that wrong?
It's a team.
It's not a problem. I ran it by you.
Yeah.
And you kicked it back. Now, what I will say is that, like, Liz is the one that actually, when I came home last night, I'm like, she's like, how was your day? I'm like, honestly, I'm a little frustrated because I took my car in yesterday, like today.
It's time wasted. It felt overwhelming.
And I had, like, so the day before that, I got a message from my healthcare that it's out of network. So my normal thing that I normally pay $200, $300 for, listen.
He said it was longer than 50 seconds.
Listen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, fucking listen. This is the overwhelming part, right?
Right.
Financially. So I picked my healthcare because I don't really hit on my healthcare.
Correct.
Right? But I didn't realize that, and it's ignorance to me and stupidity, but I did my normal thing the last year before that. I just got a bill. So it all comes down to it. So I move into the house, I do all this shit, and I get everything squared away. I got an email yesterday from my healthcare insurance about a new claim. Click on it. Take a look at it. Just shy of $2,400 for blood tests.
So they want to charge you for the whole thing with the deductible.
They're not. LabCorp is. They got $2,400. Just moved in a new place. Right? I had to deal with my new, like, the shit we dealt with last week when we were talking about that. Now on top of that, after that, so, alright, so I got over $2,000 I gotta pay back. I gotta figure that shit out. Cool. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Taking in for a dent that I have.
$75 means everything.
That I feel is covered based on my conversation with some random guy in Menor, Ohio, 3 years ago. 3 years ago and a week. That's expired because I had 3 years, even though he told me 5. $75.
It's the world.
So I come home to this just blessing of a girl. How was your day? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. She's like, no, let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. Pissed off about this, pissed off about that, pissed off about that. What I'll say is that by the end of the night, by the time I went to bed, all is well. I realize that's where this topic comes in for me. When I feel overwhelmed, you do actually have to reach out. That's my lesson. Like, we're coming down to it for me. Like, we can talk about it all night. Like, Dan's about to chime in.
No.
And when and we can, I'll stop and save it so we can do another podcast. But for my side of it is, as long as I know that I have been dealing with it on my own, I have failed. When I feel isolated, I have failed. I've surrounded myself with Jake, Bobby, Dan, Dustin in the garage. Those people will not let you fail. They will give up on you if you don't do that. If you don't actually talk to you. No, listen. People will give up on you at some point. They won't give up on you. They're never going to be there the rest of your life. They'll give up on you at that moment.
Yeah, they'll
because
give
you
up on
won't
you at some
fucking
point.
listen. Same thing with personal relationships. That is in my opinion, that is the biggest divorce pusher in this world. Is that people will not let themselves listen to people they actually care about. So when I came into this last time, this week, I was at wit's end. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I had 5 years on this warranty, and I've been going through the move. I've been going through the smoking tent, man. I've been going through like a couple of issues with Liz that are very minute to most relationships. But when it comes down to it, I wake up the next morning, her and I talk, that's amazing. My mom, like we talked about earlier, she's a saint. She is the biggest supporter. We have the closest, in my opinion, the closest relationship that we've ever had. And on top of that, I realize that people around me that follow me on social media, they look to me unexpectedly for support, for inspiration. That's more responsibility than most people actually like to think about. Everyone around here, Dan, Bobby, Jake, Dustin behind the camera. Here's the new topic as we go into closing remarks. You may be writing that down.
I ain't starting on the closing remarks. I'm starting my own. We still need to talk about what the fuck Bobby was talking about 20 minutes ago.
It's okay.
Well, I changed it.
remember.
I changed
So,
it. It would be.
let me
finish my statement, dude.
You need no.
This is what happens when you don't talk for
Thank
an
you
hour.
sobered up for a while. Hang on.
You're
Well,
welcome.
time out, Steve.
My thing. No,
this is all
don't
about
time out.
why. Bring it out. Bring it out. Honestly, you need you're overwhelmed.
My thing. No, I'm not.
You were.
I get overwhelmed by my situation, but there is so when you open yourself up to the people around you, you will actually find, and you're trying to be inspirational. That is actually a key stance, right? If you are trying to be inspirational to people, if you're doing social media, if you're doing, take that lighter away from Dan, please.
I don't have a fucking lighter. What are
What
you
are
talking
you
about?
flipping with?
He's just tapping his.
My
Say
Exo
the cutter.
Zycar cutter?
It's great.
What,
Available
Steve?
at $10.
No, honestly.
So what I'm saying
it's a good point.
All right.
Honestly,
So
it
what
really
I'm saying is that the biggest part about what we're dealing with tonight is that when you feel overwhelmed and you need to keep moving forward. If you're in that point, the unfortunate part in what you don't realize what you are doing prior to that moment where you feel overwhelmed is that you might be inspiring other people. I've felt that. I'm not saying I'm this big social media giant. I just know who I affect because based on who I've had feedback from. You don't know when you actually affect people. Now I've also, and that's what I alluded to earlier, is when I was overwhelmed and I put that and people reached out to me that I've known for a long time and like, is everything okay? Are you, like, what do you need? Those are both, there's two sides of that. There's one side that, hey, I'm good. That's why I'm posting this, that I'm still moving forward. That like, I feel overwhelmed and I'm moving. I'm still going forward. It doesn't matter. Like I'm not letting the quicksand get me. I'm not doing that. But metaphor aside, it's just I'm fucked right now.
You're not.
No, but I feel fucked right now. I'm overwhelmed with the moves that are going on in my life, professionally, personally, whatever it is. Financially is where everyone
Feels.
Oh,
100%.
100%. You feel like you are just fucking beat up. I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck.
But it
Now
feels
I
that
am.
way. But-
Now I am.
Because of what happened.
Now I am. So that's where I'm saying, like, before we did this podcast, that's where I look at it. I was like, dude, fucking, I was not going to take a vacation this year. I was not going to do anything else this year. I need to, like, just roll through it. I'm going to get ahead of myself. Then I get that blood test bill.
We'll talk about that outside because I know how to get around that because I worked in medical.
Yeah.
I did.
You already talked about how you get around stuff. My point is that it doesn't matter what the hurdle is.
It's still a hurdle.
It's a hurdle that you just, I did this. So before you said that, Bobby, it's not that I'm going to turn you away. what I'm saying is that when I get that bill, when I get that email, when I think I'm ahead of the game, I get that fucking punch in the gut financially. What I'm saying is that when I feel like I'm at that point, my drive is literally the people around me. Whether that, Dan, if you ever looked at a Facebook post.
He's being serious. He's being serious.
No, yeah, you're here. Dustin, he likes a lot of my Facebook. Dan, if you feel like, if you're on Facebook and you see like this focus post at the gym, I'm not saying you go to the gym, but if you get any inspiration, 1% inspiration, by the consistency, that it doesn't matter. You can look at me, not moving in this new place, but you can be that person that actually takes something like, scrolling Facebook and like, oh, Steve posted again. But when you actually hit that moment of what we're talking about tonight, you're like, fuck, if Steve can do it,
Anybody can.
anyone can.
And that's inspirational.
Anyone absolutely can.
It doesn't matter what you make, what you do, whatever it is, if you want to keep moving forward, that's the one. That's the if. That's the what is your drive.
I agree with that. And I think, honestly, like, and I'm going to bring it back to Dan here in a second. It's, you feel overwhelmed. You have your core supporters. We all look up to you. Jake looks up to you. Everybody looks up to you. But you don't need to take that as overwhelming. That's support. And you need to make sure that you don't forget about your support. And that's where you put your hand in your face. And you need to come back. And we always got your back. The listeners have your back. Your Tinder Box. Everybody respects you.
The only reason you have my back is because we are doing this together.
It is.
This is what we are doing.
And
In a sense.
Yes. And then, sorry. Bring it up. What were we
You're not
saying?
reading it.
What I wanted to bring forward
You are.
was,
I am reading it.
especially when feeling overwhelmed, not only be, just something that's like personal to myself, anything in general. I have no issue whatsoever admitting I live at home. I've got no issue with that whatsoever.
You live in your home, but you have a very reciprocating relationship.
I understand that. However, I wasn't.
Explain to them.
I'm not. All right.
Get
Whatever.
after it.
I'm not entirely responsible with my spending.
How old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
There you go.
Not entirely responsible with my spending. Hence, I still live at home. I'm making up for that. I'm trying to pay off debt, etc., etc. There are things, time after time, I try and help my family with whatsoever. Something that was
You
overwhelming.
got a good heart, bro.
Dude, I fucking try everything I can. Something that was overwhelming, especially to my mom, as little as it can seem to anybody, we switched cable companies. All right, we've been with Spectrum for years. We switched to AT&T. The salesman whoever, whatever you want to name it, showed up to our door. Promises that we'd have like gigabit internet, HD television, whatever. 2 days later, wasn't the case. They had new cable set up to our house. We went through everything. I had internet that was slower than what I had with Spectrum. Not any of the cable that was promised for AT&T, and we called them. And I'm sitting there walking my mom through every step of the process because I know
You're good, dude.
whatever you go through, if you're promised something by a salesperson, that's everything you need to take in hand if you need to call somebody. So when you're whether it's not like your promise is, an HD cable package or fucking gigabit internet, which is stupid fast for anybody out here. If I'm getting 40 megs compared to a gigabit, which
It's 1024 megabytes per second.
thank you, Rob.
You're welcome. I got you guys.
So,
smart.
when you call in and they tell you, oh, it's going to be X amount of dollars, $600 to cancel that contract you just signed, and your cable rep who sold you the package wouldn't answer your phone calls, that's something that's a little fucking stressful for you. And when you talk somebody into that, not only is that person stressed out and overwhelmed, but you're overwhelmed because you talked that person into it. So when you go through something like that, because it's like, hey, I gave you my word, this is gonna work out, and oh fuck, it's not. That's where you've got to sit there and be accountable and bite your fucking tongue and walk them through that again to get out of it.
Yeah.
That's overwhelming. You know, not only do I have that something like that at home, whether or not it's at home or at work, like outside of amateur hockey, like, dude, I'm a journeyman cutter for Kroger. I've been working for Kroger for 10 years, and I'm a journeyman meat cutter. So anyone who would look at me would go, all right, this is somebody who knows what he's doing. He can train people up to whatever they need to be. My weakest point is actually training people. I'm somebody who you tell me what you need to get done, and I get it done. When it comes to training people, I can't relate to the other person.
Fuck that.
I can't relate to the training process. So I look to the other people who are underneath me to help me with that training process. I can't take somebody who's new and explain something step by step to them to get them up to the level that I'm at. Because it's just something, it's otherworldly. And so that's something, to myself especially, it's overwhelming. For instance, this week, personally, I have my department manager and his backup are both on vacation together. So that leaves it to me to run this entire department for this store.
Dude, you've been doing, like, for the last, let's just put this into retrospect for, like, Dan's personal situation. The last, like, year and a half to 2 years, the amount of workers that Dan's worked with, he's lost, like, 2 or 3, at least, like, 2 years ago. You were working how many hours a week then?
Oh, I'd average 50 to 60 hours a week.
Since then, for the last 2 years.
For the last 2 years, whatever it needed, I'm the person who sits there and goes, hey, if you need me, give me a call.
Yeah.
And every fucking day, they need me.
They call you.
So the meaning of a day off is foreign to me. And I'm that person because I care about my job and I care about what goes on. I'm that person who answers that call and goes, yeah, you know, sure, I worked like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. today, but I'll come back in at fucking 7 p.m. and close up shop and show up to work the next day at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Because that job, I care about that.
Yeah.
I care about the way my shop runs.
It has to look right.
You know, it absolutely.
It has to be right, clean,
It has
done.
to be right. It has to be clean. It's got to be set to
It's
standard.
your meat to your customers.
Exactly.
No, it is.
And
my dad's one of the heads for Giant Eagle.
Right.
So I understand that part of it.
And
you take pride in your job.
And you know, that's absolutely. And I've had to sit down, you know, with my department manager and with management, and they sit there and they give me the, hey, we appreciate what you do. They give me that talk. But really it just tells me like, hey, you know, yes, we're super thankful for you, but we can't pay you any more than what you do.
Right.
Because you're union and you're on contract.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Like, yeah, I break my back for you guys. You know, I've been in a backup manager position. I've been in a manager position. And both times it is just completely folded underneath me. But I still care about my job enough that I'm willing to do whatever it takes so people are happy.
Right. I love it, Dan. I really do.
You're
Yeah,
passionate.
and then, right, that's the overwhelming aspect. That's why I go to the cigar shop daily. I hang out with my friends daily. You know, I sit there and I light up a cigar and I just sit around and I fucking relax with everybody.
And I
So
know
don't have to worry
I
about
give
that bullshit.
Yeah, and I know I give you shit about it, Dan, about the whole, you know, Dan's not one of those guys that, you know, comes in a cigar shop and some people may think that, you know, some guys in cigar shops are very lazy or they're just like lackadaisical. And that's not the main point. Like if you have a free day off and people want to come in and spend all day, then
2-hour break.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like Dan's one of those people that, you know, he works, he goes in at, you know, 8 and gets off at 6, goes back to bed, and then comes out to the cigar shop maybe in the, you know, mid-afternoon, like maybe early evening, and then he'll be there for 2 hours and he goes back to sleep. Or goes back to work for that matter.
100%.
You know what I mean? So, and Dan's never one to like sit around the cigar shop for, you know, all day or anything. And I know I give him shit about that because, one, I like hanging out with the guy. I like hanging out with you, Dan, and I like seeing you. But I know that you've been busting your ass the last 2 years and you've been working on it. And that's all about the moving forward product of what we're talking about, right? And we didn't really hint on like what Bobby was talking about earlier.
It's about
but
that now.
I think it's interesting that we spent most of the time tonight like talking about like just the situations in general that make us overwhelmed, and that's fine because we can. I mean, and most people.
About it.
Well, yeah, we can vent about it, and it makes all of us better, and it makes us feel better. And I hope Dan and Bobby and Dustin. I know I'm going to go home feeling better about it, and I know Steve will, be home feeling better about it. But for me, it's interesting about like the moving forward product of what we're talking about, and when something happens that's in a light that makes it overwhelming, right? It makes you almost, you can't breathe. You feel like something's wrapped around your chest so tight that you're not going to be able to move.
You're suffocated. You're stuck in that spot.
Yeah, and that's where I believe if someone can compartmentalize and things can seem, it takes stuff off your plate for a second. And sometimes that's all that some of us need is that 1 second to reevaluate ourselves. And I wanted to bring back a hint that what Steve was driving at earlier about him coming home and having a shitty day and talking to Liz. And I know that a lot of our listeners and viewers have that same situation with their significant other or any loved one for that matter. If you're talking to your parents or your mom or your dad or an aunt and uncle, a loved one, a significant other, and they're wanting to help. They can see in your eyes, your heart, your body language that you're irritated, upset, you've had a long day. And it's some of us, like allowing yourself to open up is a blessing to our loved ones. Having someone to open up to you as a loved one. Having someone to ask simply, how was your day? We talked about that a long time ago. As my statement was, just ask a random person how their day is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be like a long, drawn-out conversation, but at least they know someone gave a shit for a second, right? But
It does wonders for people.
yeah, here's where I'll like play devil's advocate for a second, where I think some people have a loved one that cares a lot and sometimes maybe too much. It's like kind of that like the cradle, like if you cradle it so hard you're gonna break it
Almost
kind
like,
of thing.
Security blanket.
Yeah, and that's great. That's a blessing. But the people that truly care about their significant other that comes home and they're upset or they've had a long day and they either like don't want to talk about it or they're venting to them. Sometimes what happens is that the person that asked the question in the first place either doesn't like the response or doesn't like how like passionate the other person is, right? They're venting, they're taking it a different direction because they think they're talking directly to them. Or it's one of those things like Steve said, like I just don't want to talk about it. Like, can you give me that respect? And sometimes if you ask 3 times, if Alicia and I are talking, for example, and I've had a rough day, and she asked 3 times, it's like, babe, it's not like I blow up and say, babe, I'm not fucking talking about it. It's, hey, I know you care, I love you, but hey, I really don't want to talk about it right now. I want to sit down, or I want to make dinner with you, have the night to each other. Just know and trust the fact that I have this figured out, and I'm going to figure it out. I may not have the pointed out steps and the labeling correct right now, but I know that in my heart and in my faith, I have this. But thank you for caring about me. Thank you for asking about my day, and how was your day? What I do want to say is that the people that are asking the questions, sometimes you really, really need to respect boundaries, even if you love someone and they love you back. And it can really grow into something great. And it's I think that's where I've learned about like Alicia and I's relationship, where we've developed this thing where she knows my boundaries, I know her boundaries, and that's where I was talking about earlier, where it's actually the opposite, where it's not really a trust thing with Alicia, and that was my biggest issue in the beginning of our relationship, was when she didn't think that she would get on me about something.
You talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but she wanted the control, right? Because she wanted it done. She had it framed in her head, right? and that's great. Like, I respect her decision, but it's like, no, it's my thing, and you don't have a say, in a sense.
But it's because it's you venting at that point, like, let me get through my
Yeah,
day.
yeah. But that's our relationship. Maybe that's not the right way to vent all the time, but it's like, that's how we communicate.
And that's between you and her.
Right. I'm just saying.
As long as it stays between you and her.
There's points to that, but continue. I understand.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when there's that person that cares about you and wants to figure out that, you know, how you move forward through your struggle, right? Sometimes some of us know what we need to do, and even if we're overwhelmed, we have the faith, we're hard workers, and we either talk about it for a second, or if you're one of those people that don't need to talk about it, I'm trying to make the point that it's okay.
It is okay.
As long as the communication is clear about the relationship and you set the boundaries, it's gonna be okay. And I wanted to say that, you know, when you say that I'll figure this out, they just need to respect it. And the biggest point is that
Trust and faith.
the trust and the faith, and that when we're talking about struggles tonight, we're talking about things that are overwhelming us, making us not be able to breathe, suffocating us. The biggest key, and I am the worst at it, is understanding that the struggle itself is another step in your life that will either, it's going to bury you if you let it, or it's going to catapult you into something that you could have never imagined was possible. Maybe like even your dreams, right?
Correct.
It's. I'll give one example and I'm done. So,
No.
so Alicia and I, we were talking about her job, and she didn't have her job isn't very reliable, or there's no room to really grow, right?
She feels stuck.
She is capped right now.
Yeah.
And it, to be honest,
Capped
not
out.
capped in pay, capped in
Moving up.
Yeah, there's no promotions.
She's
She
right
is
there.
done.
Unless someone dies.
Yeah, and it's a what's the level? Like an entry level, but she's capped as she was the first day that she was there.
So what's she supposed to do?
Right.
And that's her frustration.
Right. That's her frustration. So she's been looking for jobs for like a year, but kept on her same path, right? And so she put in her 2 weeks about like a week ago or so. And so she's starting a new job. Obviously,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Obviously
Absolutely.
that's going to make her nervous. I know how that was. I
It's
had
changed.
3 jobs in
Yeah.
fucking 6 months. But she was nervous about it, so I was trying to calm her down. And we started really talking about our dreams. Like, we both love Kentucky. And this is where the conversation went really cool.
Yeah, good.
Is that we literally started talking about like moving to Kentucky. And talking about, you want to be with, start a distillery, you want to be around it, you want to begin that entry
You're part of
level, you're part of it, you want to be a part of it. Foundation. And the fact that she loves Kentucky and she loves the same things. So it's like, in her twisting it, in her head, she does marketing. So if she could be like part of a marketing team for a distillery, bingo.
Both loves.
Bingo, bango.
Yeah, exactly.
It combines to your passion and to what she loves to do.
But it's about thinking about, well, this is where I, pull what I've heard from Steve, is that, well, what are the steps to that? What are the plans? What could we possibly do, right? Well, my sales position, it can be lucrative, but it's only if I put the effort towards it. So I put in the long hours. She's starting this new job, but she needs to obviously stay, relatively financially stable, right? Because she needs a job.
Yeah, right.
And it's something that, and this is what it came down to. So she was like, well, all I keep reading is like bad reviews about this job. I think about the hours, it's going to be long hours. I don't know what it's going to be like, stuff like that. Well, but she said one thing that stuck, she was listing all these cons, and the one pro that she said was, but I'm going to grow from it.
100%.
So my question was to her was, well, so you listed all these cons, but the pro that you literally said outweighs 15
Everything.
of the cons that you explained.
100%.
So it's simply about, it's outweighing the cons about a situation and understanding the pros.
Would you say it's a leap of faith in that situation?
I agree with that. Whether you have faith or
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
whatever it
that's
is.
what I'm saying, leap of faith. Whatever it is, to
Yeah.
be able to like see that, that's what she's willing to do.
yeah,
Based off her cons, right?
yeah, and you have to have somebody that, you know, luckily again we were blessed that, you know, we have each other and I let her see that light. But then it comes down to the fact of, well, you need this because, well, you need the money, right?
100%.
But in the end game, you're at least going to grow from it, and it's 10 grand more in your pocket than what you're already making.
What's the
So,
con?
yeah,
What's the overall con?
yeah.
Are you ready to take that faith with me? And I'm here to support you.
So
You're supporting her.
yeah, so speaking on moving forward, I think when you actually dial into a situation, and again, I've never like owned a house, and I've never gone through that. I've never had like a child to care for and do this and that and things that most families like have to deal with in a reality.
You get there.
Yeah.
But in my life, what I'll say, and hopefully that the examples that I've explained, maybe someone out there that's older than me can get something out of it and make something of it. That's the point of why I'm saying all this. And when Alicia and I were talking about all that, it's when I started realizing in myself, it's like, I don't know if I really like my job right now. It's kind of a weird job. Like, you know, when you tell somebody like you work at a cemetery,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not the greatest like icebreaker
I
to
still
a
think that.
conversation. But to me, it's like I'm never bored. It's me growing. I get to enjoy the company of people every day. And
You learn from them, don't you?
I learn from them. I enjoy life a little better. And the simple fact that, you know,
enjoy life.
it is lucrative. In the end game is I want to be a master distiller. I want to do this and that. And if this is one weird step
To get there.
then that has to be my mindset.
Absolutely.
But in that time
Learn from the
period,
people you're dealing with.
but in that period, I'm going to grow in the struggle that I just went through this last year, the struggle that Steve went through with his house and all this bullshit and the medical, your move, Bobby, the shit that, you know, goes with Dan and his job, and it doesn't matter if it's the pay or the hours or whatever. It's like as long as you have a plan and as long as you keep dreaming and have a goal,
Why living?
wow, yeah,
No,
exactly.
that's important. That's
Yeah.
why living.
Absolutely, yeah.
And start taking
It's your
action.
day to day. If you go full blown retirement plans,
Yeah,
you're fucked.
right.
Yeah, forget that. But why living, whatever it is.
No, it's not fuck that. It's absolutely if you're giving up today for I'm gonna be secure later, that's what you're saying. Living today.
Living the life.
Yeah, you have to do that too.
Correct.
So
But
don't
continue.
say what you
no,
said.
No, but I didn't mean to. Sorry for cutting off.
No, you're
I'm
good.
agreeing with you.
And yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I'll even say it. I absolutely agree with everything Jake's saying.
Yeah.
And I take a part of that, and especially everything I do. For example, Dustin and I work for the same company. Dustin and I are in two different portions of the company. Dustin's in upper management. I'm at the hourly level, doing the regular grunt work.
All right.
And I have no issue with any of that. I vent to Dustin sometimes about the shit I go through. We work at two different stores. He relates to me, and I appreciate that.
He's coaching you to be able to get to hopefully where he's at, where you want to,
Absolutely.
and that's your mentor.
Absolutely.
Is that safe to say, Dustin?
He helps me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
He helps me. He gives me advice with everything I'm going through and what I can do to help improve my situation. And I absolutely appreciate everything he does for that, even though I have never regularly asked him for help. And sure, at times, especially this week, my job's overwhelming. I feel like anything I do is not enough, and I'm just faced with wall after wall.
So, I want to cut you off there.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're a good person. You care about... No, I'm being serious. Like,
No,
I'm going to keep it simple.
I agree.
You're not wrong.
You're a good person. You don't feel appreciated at work sometimes. You put in the gut work. You want to be recognized for your actions. You feel overwhelmed from it.
You talking about Dan or yourself?
Dan. I mean, everybody in general.
What are you talking about right now?
He's talking about me right now.
That's everybody. It's everybody in
I
general.
think most people feel
People
that way.
want to feel
It's a point to be
appreciated.
made.
Everybody wants to feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
Hence why Verizon's thing is
Right,
customers.
go on.
Verizon's thing is
Go on.
Verizon's customers first right now. That's their effort. That's where most companies are going towards. So customer effort is you calling into your bottle warranty or your medical. Your thing is what dealing with the loved ones and ones that passed away, getting that done to make them happy, but also get your business. Your thing is making sure the customers get that. But at the end of the day, where's the appreciation for the employee, for the person that signed up for the warranty, for you and your job, or your girlfriend to be able to get there? It's about being appreciated. And when you're overwhelmed, you can't lose sight about being appreciated or holding that back to you. It's about being patient and being able to look past that. Gary Vee, one of my favorite podcasts on BS.
No.
It's all about the patient.
He's a couple of years before us.
I mean, but it's about being patient and knowing the
Gary's
game
great,
and knowing where you want to be at. He wants to own the Jets. He
Yeah.
talks about it all the fucking time.
And this is a multimillionaire.
And he has productions. He's even said, like, if I invested in this, I would have $1 million, but I didn't want to because I didn't believe in it. It was about the end game. It's about being patient. You will be rewarded. I was literally feeling the same way at Verizon. I applied for different jobs within my organization and got rejected and not even getting interviews. I applied for the one job in Dallas, and they see the potential in me. I'm a senior operations analyst for the business sales of Verizon now. I'm very blessed that somebody is giving me that opportunity. That opportunity will happen to you. That will happen to Alicia. That will happen to you with the podcast.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's the end game, the patience, and not putting the hand in your face and actually realizing where you are, and do not let
They bring that up.
And you're not letting anything that's overwhelming you, because it's only temporary.
Yeah.
And people lose sight of that. The viewers lose sight of that. I lose sight of that. It's human. It's natural. So at the end of the day, take the time for you, appreciate what you have, and be a part of that end game to get where you want to be. Because, like I said, everybody in this room is a good person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be hanging out with you. I wouldn't be watching to your podcast. I wouldn't be in this garage when I have 20 million things to do. And it's not because I have 20 million things to do. I need to take, everybody needs that self-reflection to make sure that, you know what, we are blessed. We have people that support us. Some people not out there might not feel that. And for the listeners, honestly, the podcast supports you, 100%. The topics support you. If you can relate to it and you can take something from it, roll with it. It's not like I tell you what to do and you go do it. Steve is not going to do that. Dan's not going to tell you to do that. Dustin's not going to tell you that. Jake's not going to tell you to do that. I'm not going to tell you to do that. You need to figure it out for yourself and learn from your actions, because we're always growing and we're always understanding. And I don't mean to take away from it and go to closing remarks.
No, you're not taking away from it.
You have to be you. You have to be you at the end of the day, and you have to self-reflect, and you have to be genuine. And it's not a weakness. People will say it's a weakness. It's not a fucking weakness, because you will get that back. I believe in karma personally. You put in the effort, you will be rewarded. It might not show right away.
You're actually showing that.
You might not see it right away. People have debts. People have the struggles. But you will get past that, because you can't change the characteristics of yourselves. And I don't want you to feel unappreciated. That's amazing that you have that. If someone's listening from Giant Eagle, Kroger, whoever, they should see that. They would be able to look at your hours. They would look at your drive. And if they can't appreciate you for who you are, sometimes you have to give them an ultimatum and you have to grow from that. That's your decision. Same thing with Dustin. He's in management. If he doesn't feel appreciated, he has to realize it and do the self-reflection. Your insurance situation. If they hit your credit, it doesn't hit your credit. Fuck that.
Oh,
I will literally.
No,
I'm saying that they can't do it for medical reasons. Medical reasons, they can't hurt your credit. You don't have to pay the bill. I'm just saying I know this shit.
I get where you're coming from,
but it's, you have to be able to fight those battles and choose the times you need to fight.
Exposing myself in my situation.
Well, I'm not exposing anything. I'm just basing it on the
did.
conversation.
I did.
but you have a great family. You have great friends. Don't ever feel that you have to do everything. And I need to take that advice for myself.
Yeah.
You have a
Listen
great
to your
girlfriend.
fucking self.
I know that. I need to. I know I need to.
No, it goes around the table.
No, we have. You have
Oh,
to.
Jake.
Next T-shirt.
No, actually, that's,
Listen to
that's
your
a great
fucking self.
T-shirt.
It is a great
Next
t-shirt.
Jake and I have had that conversation. That's been my response to him.
And it's going to be an abbreviation. It's going to be FKN.
No, it's listen to your fucking self. In bold print, because that's what we talked about, and he brought it up.
Hey,
That's
can
absolutely
I
what we
order
talked
one of those T-shirts?
about. Fuck yeah.
Pre-order right now at the BS Podcast. If you approve of this t-shirt, please share your likes on this.
By the way, I approve this message.
And we need to laugh. We need to laugh. It was very serious for the last hour. And the thing is, that's the whole
Took a
point.
long piss, man.
It's you have to be
Getting old.
yourself. You have to know yourself.
Love
And if you
it.
don't know your fucking self, then you are behind in the game. And I'm sorry. I am standing by that statement.
No.
Know yourself. Know your
Don't be
friends.
sorry. Encourage.
No. It's
Encourage.
His last 10 minutes of speech has been know your fucking self.
But and I need to reflect from that. My point is, at the end of this whole thing, is to be overwhelmed. It's a double-edged sword. You can either, like Steve said, it's quicksand.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
drown in it, or you could be in the fucking Princess Bride and grab that fucking vine and cry right out.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious.
So that you and I are on the same wavelength. Yeah.
You climb yourself out, and it's no one wants to hear the negative, and sometimes you have to bring that up to realize that for yourself. And it was a self-reflection on this podcast, and
Yeah.
it gives me that drive.
I love that.
It's a self-reflection, and it's a drive that you just need to bring yourself up, whatever the situation any viewer has.
You're gonna take so much down in Texas.
No,
What I love about it, you're gonna inspire people that you meet.
I hope I do somehow.
Because by inspiring other people, you are going to be inspired by that impact.
And I only learned
Because
that.
I know you, I know you, that you have that self-doubt. You have that. Yeah. But you preach this when you go down to Dallas, Fort Worth, whatever.
Whatever it is.
You're gonna actually bring that positive attitude, and then you'll feed off of the other people that are like, yeah, I agree. Now all of a sudden that's just projected. It's a
does.
rocket that I love about that. Like you're bringing that down there that you brought out. You brought from Columbus. Yeah, from Columbus, Ohio, all this. Like, you bring up the podcast. I know you will, actually. You'll bring that down there.
I'll be commenting and making.
Yeah, no, but you have that attitude, and you have this new surrounding.
It's about foundation.
Those people are positive, and you're like, yeah, I'm positive too, but let me tell you about my positivity. This is my drive. This is my goal. And these people are going to be around you that are hopefully of the same mind, that they're going to dude, I love that.
I appreciate that.
But that's what we were talking about earlier. You're going to take that into consideration where you bring in, you still have that input, all input. It's not a negative situation. You're defending yourself. This is now you positively getting to that point where you're like, I'm down here, I'm new, I'm going to really drive to what I want.
My culture is going to reflect this
Yeah,
culture.
and then you're get these people around you that are yeah, we're all about it. We love that. Absolutely. We want to support you. We want to do this. What are you doing? Oh, I'll buy it. I'll do this. People buy from people that it's not about sales.
It's not. It's about relatability.
But sales is what makes you money.
But I'm not doing sales. I'm support, regardless of this. You know what got me the job?
My point is, it's job
Your inspirational
security.
attitude.
I'm not very inspirational.
It's job security because you're
No, this
real.
podcast is showing.
I might reflect something.
If you do that in Texas, where I'll see it, where Jake will see it, Bourbon BS Podcast will see it, is now all of a sudden we have some Texas viewers because you are enjoying the positivity in your life.
That's all it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you're saying, Steve.
That's all
And
I'm saying.
and honestly, the reason why I got the job in Texas, and I analyzed my interview. And at the point when I was actually doing my interview part, and this is when I felt overwhelmed because the only reason why we left to go to Texas, and truthfully, I am very sad that I'm leaving Columbus,
We're gonna miss you.
and I'm still gonna come visit you guys,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be on this podcast one way. I'll just force my way onto it. I don't know how, but I will.
Everyone says that.
I will, because I'm just very straightforward
It's the
sometimes.
same thing when you say like, come down to Texas to visit me. I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, what got me the job in Texas,
I'm gonna make a week out.
and I really
I
want
do.
to.
I don't have enough budget.
I want to bring this point honestly, because like I analyze my actual like. I analyzed my interview, and they asked, "What can you?" The last question was to me like, "Why do you feel like you should get this job that wasn't asked?" And I was overwhelmed at this point.
Okay.
And I said to my new boss, I can bring a fucking happy smile, and I can laugh, and I can always make sure that the culture is always going to be inspirational to this company for this job. And when I saw their face when I answered that and was able to convey that, it doesn't matter what company you're interviewing for, they want to feel that you're going to bring up that culture and that environment. And even if you're feeling overwhelmed, like I did in that interview, and you can just be honest about it and know what your true values are, it's always going to go over that overwhelming, and you're going to shoot. And make sure you're humble while you're doing it, because you don't want to be cocky about it. I was genuine about it.
Took your hat off for a second.
For my long hair.
It looks good.
Your
It's
face.
Looks good.
it's don't lose your core values. Don't let anything overwhelming in your life take anything away from you. Be yourself, and if you're not happy with yourself, surround yourself with good fucking people.
Yes.
Like this podcast, like with my good friends here. And you'd be fucking surprised, and it will just elevate you into a different environment to be understanding and just being happy. And that's all I can say, just be you.
Who's out? Dan, do you have any?
I completely agree with Raul.
Alright.
You good?
Big.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for taking that last part there.
You
just
killed
wanted-
it.
I said my piece when you were in the restroom.
Patch it down.
Dude, I held
Point
it for 2.5
taken.
hours.
Are you good? I thought you had your closing remarks earlier.
I didn't.
We sold them.
I'll keep it brief.
I like Steve's long closing remarks. I really do. If it's the second part, I want to hear it.
Second part.
No, I want, you know,
He's taking that out.
what's
Serious.
what is gonna make you so you don't feel overwhelming? What's your next goal for that? What's
So-
gonna inspire you to
Alright,
make sure
so
that?
what I've learned from you guys, when we look at the topic, right? We're overwhelmed, but keep moving forward. The reason I introduced that part of it is because I felt that. I know a lot of people have felt that. It doesn't matter what the situation is. When I introduced that topic to Dan, I texted it to him. He's like, "What is it?" I was like, "Oh, but give me a second. I'll send it to you." He read that. This is universal. Because what Dan said to me was that he has felt this. He's got countless records of this situation where he has been overwhelmed by being overwhelmed. And he's done well. He's failed. But he's still tried to do what he can with the situation in front of him. I did take a break. I had to take a piss, right? 2.5 hours into it.
Yeah.
Gotta let the snake out, you know.
Yeah. What I'll say is that when I looked at this topic, and Bobby, I am very, very, very impressed by what you said.
Thank you.
It's not a compliment.
I feel
No, it's not just a compliment. Let me rephrase that. It's not just a compliment. And Jake is in the same mindset that I am. We've come a long way in the last year or so. When we come down this topic, when you are trying to, you're overwhelmed. You try to bring it into yourself.
Let it go.
Jake is the epitome. I'm putting you in the spotlight.
Yeah.
You are the epitome that you will take it into yourself. That you say, fuck everyone else. I'm going to make this work for myself.
Yeah. Show me the brick wall, man.
Friends, family, romantic relationships, fuck everyone. And it's not like this negative thing. It's not that. It's not. It's just how you actually deal with it.
Progress.
I'll get stronger. They will get stronger with me. Am I wrong?
No.
Defense.
Yeah. So what I've learned over my years, because I've felt like that, where I'm gonna say, I'll get stronger, they'll get stronger with me, or they'll be inspired by my strength. That doesn't always work.
Nope.
It's a very, very strong way to go into a situation. So when you're overwhelmed, going back to the whole subject, if you're overwhelmed, yet how do you move forward? My biggest struggle that I've dealt with, and I feel like everyone has at this table and everyone listening to this podcast, you take it upon yourself, you creep in, you let a little bit, you creep in, other people that care about you, they're not telling you what to do, but they give you their advice. And you know they're right. This is where you actually grow. This is where you have a realization of how you picture yourself. I can be the strong point. I'm the strong guy. You give me, you keep foundation. You give me that. You give me this like advice. Fuck that advice. I'm still unhappy.
Switch it.
You're overwhelmed. That's a quicksand for me. I had quicksand recently. All I know is that when we get to that point, everyone's trying to tell you that I'll help out. I'll give you advice. This is how I would deal with it. But when it comes down to it, for me, it's literally you take everything into consideration. Everyone around you. I look around the table. All these three people, Dustin, Liz, inside the house. I keep open now. And I'll piss off all of you because I don't get it. All I know is that I have feedback that I will make a decision, whatever it is that is overwhelming me. I have been overwhelmed recently. It's simple things. That's when you dial it back for practical reasons. It's not that important. No one's going to be offended if you are doing a day-to-day decision, but we overcomplicate things because we don't want to offend someone, we don't want to upset someone, but when it comes down to it, if it's just you in that situation and you have that impact on those people, you have a day-to-day obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'll say. We did a shower, ceramic tile thing, and this is a big metaphor. we had the corner pieces put back on the back side of the shower, right? I stepped in the shower. I took a half step back, and I was like this. And I was like, I spent with these people in my life, we spent $2,000 on the ceramic top. I'm not gonna spend the next 10 years of my life showering like this.
What, cramped? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Step back.
Yeah.
Go like this.
Shoulder up against.
You're
the
not gonna be
wall.
uncomfortable spending $2,000. And
You can put the same corner pieces right there. I can say to you, like, hey, we're gonna save you some money. We're gonna put this, and you sit down to take a shit in the morning. Sounds great,
but you're
right?
cramped.
But then you sit down on the shitter. Had to reach back around here for fucking toilet paper.
Especially for a big man.
Point being, it's all practical. This is day to day. You can be upset with your shit.
Oh my God! Right, go along. Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, share.
Wait, no. Say, what was
Reality.
the first statement again? You can be uncomfortable with your shit. What's the second half?
I'll tell you what. So if it makes sense,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Patter, goddammit.
I'll be the greatest contractor in your life.
I'm crying right now. Are you kidding me?
Let me rephrase it.
No. Don't rephrase it. Continue.
No.
Your best is the best thing you've ever
Continue.
done.
You gotta take a shit in the morning feeling comfortable.
Absolutely right.
That's where Steve's going with
That's
this.
the big point.
It is.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you, Bobby.
You gotta have the space
Listen to me.
with your muscles to get
Bobby,
back to that
Bobby,
part to have a
Bobby,
good shit to enjoy life.
Bobby, what I'm saying is that this is real life. Sadly. And you can joke about
No,
it.
it's a great metaphor. I
Go.
love it.
Just
It's
go.
shit, right? So the corner pieces in the shower. You want to talk about contract?
Yes, I know.
Are up in the front because you don't want to like what my mom and Liz said. Calm down.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh.
The world's greatest
This
metaphor.
is perfect. No,
This
I'm
absolutely is the greatest.
Go.
this should be this new T-shirt. I approve this message.
I also approve that. You put the corner pieces that we bought to put in the front corner.
Correct.
The contract says, let's put them up there. My mom and Liz say, we don't want our shower things to get wet. I'm like, the shampoo bottles? To get wet? Okay. Looks great up front, looks great back here. I step in the shower, right?
You're uncomfortable.
I show my mom, who, because I was working constantly, all of a sudden, I step in the shower, I'm like, look, if I angle the shower down, I take a step back, I'm like this.
Cramped.
My right shoulder's up.
It's bad posture.
Not good. I'm not fucking paying for that for the next 10 years, that I have to like do this while I shower.
It's uncomfortable shit.
It's so comfortable
God,
cleaning
right.
and then also taking a shit.
Here's where we get to it. Here's your biggest metaphor, in my opinion.
I love it. I agree.
You don't think about this shit.
Go ahead. What's
So
it?
you have it.
Of all your remodels, Bobby, of all your remodels.
What is
Okay,
it?
no, I understand. I understand Steve at this point.
Yeah.
No, I want to hear it. What is it?
I know where he's going with
What
it.
is it?
He's remodeled
Let the audience
so
know.
many times.
I've
What
done
I'm
so many
saying
remodels.
is-
Let the audience know where you're getting to.
What I'm saying is you can make so many decisions in life. I'm gonna roll it out like this.
It's only funny because he's laughing.
You're fucked. If you put your TP
Your toilet paper.
Hold on.
TP is
Hold
toilet
on,
paper.
just let him go.
If you put it at a level of aesthetics, if you cannot answer the question when I say, what happens, and I'll give you an example after this.
Oh, God.
Alright, I'll give you an example before this. So listen, hey, listen. I had a toilet. We had to get rid of one. It was not great. We remodeled it. So we had a toilet donated.
From the Tinder Box?
No, actually from Liz's dad. $600 toilet.
Yeah. It's a power flush, probably. It's wireless.
We don't need to know the
No.
dynamics. No. Go.
Here's the thing.
Stop. This is where the stupid question.
Real
Stop.
quick. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
So, said toilet would not fit in the hall toilet because you
The
couldn't
hall.
close the door.
Yes.
So, now, my handyman and my mom thought it would not fit in the
I'm so sorry, viewers, because I know exactly what Steve's going
Calm
through.
down. Yeah. So they didn't think it would fit in the master bath. I was literally like, all right, cool. So I get off work at fucking 10 o'clock at night. I pick up the basin of the toilet. I put it in there. And I'm like, this is going to fit. Take it out of there.
It doesn't fit.
We put it, no, fuck you. It actually fits. Here's where it comes into. I lift up the toilet. So we have my mom and Liz and a handyman, George. They put the toilet in. What do? I go to take a piss at it. I lift up the toilet seat and the lid. The toilet seat starts falling down. Fucking $600 toilet that he got on a deal for like fucking $50. I'm like,
Can't do it.
what do? Fucking Liz is in the other room. She says, pee faster. I'm like, God damn.
Can that be a meme?
Be faster.
No.
Liz, if you're
Keep
listening,
it for my
please
bubble.
make a meme of Steve
She is
saying
listening.
pee faster.
She is listening.
No, she's a sweetheart. She knows.
Can we get a t-shirt made calling
Can we
pee
get a-
faster?
I already made a t-shirt. I'm still working on it. My bottom line.
I need-
Alright,
I
let's-
need-
But the point
let's
is,
close it out.
No,
Let's close it
the
out.
point
Let's
is,
close it out.
you need to be comfortable taking a shit, taking a piss, being in your shower, having your space, being you, and if you don't, fix it, be done with it, because you don't want to live with that stress.
We've gone way beyond the closing remarks. That's absolutely right. I will say this.
Jesus.
If you're feeling overwhelmed,
Take a piss.
Hold on.
no, it's not wrong. Take a piss. You're still human. The negativity that's surrounding you is not greater than what you want to do. Bobby's still laughing.
I'm listening to, we're going to do it real quick. Dustin says, long story short, Steve is overwhelmed with all the shit.
It's a joke, but yeah,
It's
no.
true.
I actually the last 2 weeks I'll say that. I mean, I've been overwhelmed with all the shit. I mean, I really.
I've heard about it. I've been here.
I have
doing
been.
what I can.
So here's the thing: is all the people that look up to me. There are a handful of people that look up to me for the posts, and you're the strong one. So when I do that, that's why I get those messages where it's are you okay? You know what I mean? That's the overwhelming part when I say that. What I will say is that I have really, really grown in the last several years because I have struggled. I have done the things I've done, and it doesn't always translate to monetary value. However, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is teaching people from my experiences and putting them in my experiences. When I share shit on social media, whether it be pictures, whether it be check-ins, whatever it might be, it's you are along for the ride. If you actually follow me, if you're friends with me, you will enjoy that. If you don't, if you want to like condescend, or if you don't want to be a part of it, then get the fuck out.
Or I'll block you.
Or block. Yeah.
Because
when I look at this, like, we had a lot of positive feedback on the new setting here.
I think it looks great.
It looks amazing.
We've done a lot, but what I'm saying is, like, this is where we're not tied into the likes, the shares, and all that stuff. Like, all that is a byproduct.
It hypes on that.
Well, it's all about the content that we put out there. So if you give us a fair share, you give us a moment in your life, that's where you will decide if you want to share it or not. We're not going to like push you to do that. But what I will say is that thank you for everyone being here, and to everyone watching the Facebook Live, and anyone listening to the audio. This was a big move in my life. When I was overwhelmed, I did a lot of things at the same time. And I feel like a lot of people out there will relate to that. I had a lot of shit going on when I was moving into this place. Also, I had my job going on, and I had my everyday life going on. This is normal. So this is the feeling overwhelmed and keep moving forward. I will say this, I kickstarted my life every fucking day. But I also looked at Jake, looked at guys like Bobby, looked at guys like Dan, looked at guys like Dustin. I looked to people around me as support. If they weren't there, it's still on me. So first and foremost, it's about me that I'm going to do this. Fortunately, I have surrounded myself with good people. Big Rob, Brandon, Dan, Bobby, Jake, Dustin, my mom, everyone. Yeah, I have surrounded myself with good people that I wasn't struggling. So I minimized my losses in the sense that I had good people around me. So anyone out there, I'm going to say this right now. I don't think anyone, like, she's listening. Tanya, she was on the podcast 2-3 weeks ago. She's about to move her shit. I had to convince her today in the shop. You like your dresser? Let me know. You have people around you that will move your dresser for you. You have people around you that will move your queen bed around you. Mm-hmm. I can contest to that. And at the very least, I will be there for you. These are the things that when you're feeling overwhelmed, all you have to do, this is what my point is, as we come down, when we taper down to it, just fucking talk to people. We've alluded to that. You're feeling overwhelmed by yourself and the situation you're in, reach out to people that have been with you for the last 6 months to a year.
And even before that.
And even before that, or even sooner than that.
And be appreciative of those people.
Just, they want to be there.
And let them.
Let them be there. Allow yourself
to take a step back.
Bingo. Go on.
Bingo,
Let's
bango.
close out. We're late.
Can I say one more thing? And then let Jake do.
I was like follow on.
And let Jake do thank you for the.
We're just gonna keep going.
But honestly, like
it's first episode in the garage. Yeah.
You gotta break it in.
it's the new. What the?
I hit it.
It wasn't me.
That was me. At the end of the day, don't be too proud of yourself. Be yourself. Let people help you. Be humble, but also know that you also have to protect yourself at the end of the day and make everything grow from that. And you will be successful in life because we're always here. The podcast is here. Steve, Jake, Dan, Dustin's here. Your loved ones, everyone's there for you. If they aren't there for you, you will find people that will be there for you. And just be happy about it.
We'll be there for you in Dallas.
And I will always be up here to help out. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I'm in Dallas, it doesn't matter where I'm at. Everybody's happy, and honestly, I want to thank everybody for listening to our awesome conversation today.
Dan?
And just be happy.
Yeah, just like Rob said, it's, be confident in the people you have, the friends you have who are there for you. Don't be afraid of people being there for you.
All right.
That's something that a lot of people are afraid of, is who is there or who isn't there, and that you just rely on the people who are there for you when you need it most. Those are the people who are your friends. They're real. They're down to earth. They are there to help you, and they are there to help you grow and succeed. And if
That's why they're there for me.
yeah, if you've got to rely on those people, you know what? You've got to rely on those people, and they won't throw it in your face. They're
This
just
dude
going to help
actually
you
moved
grow,
up
and they're going to help you succeed.
5 pieces of furniture that Liz can't tomorrow. He was there.
Hashtag strong.
Hashtag strong.
Goalie.
Thank you, Dan and Bobby for being on. We appreciate Bobby for being on and bringing the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It was amazing, and we hope that we send you off onto Texas, and we hope that you prosper and enjoy your time. Thank you, Tinder Box at Easton, for providing the cigar of the evening, the My Father, the original My Father. Thank you, Altadis USA, for providing the Montecristo, the new Montecristo Nicaraguan Series. It's an amazing cigar. And thank you, Tinder Box with the Smoking Tent event. Don't forget, it's March 15th. It's going to be a Friday evening, so call. We got 60 tickets left. Give us some rings on the phone and get your spot set in. And thank you, BS Cigar Company, Brian and Steve. Thank you for making an amazing cigar, the silver and the gold. It's probably going to be our third of the night, and we hope that you got everything that you could out of this. I know that when I get out of this podcast, that I feel rejuvenated for the rest of the week, and the
new garage.
To hail the new garage.
Sorry.
Cheers.
Happy Whiskey Wednesday.
Thank you for
Cheers.
everyone that joined me in my new garage. This is a gamble.
Cheers, and have a good evening.
Cheers.
Thank you.